Good evening and welcome back to another playthrough of Steins Up-Zero, live and exclusive here on YouTube. I'm your host Swishbo for the remainder of the evening. For those of you who've never been here before, we like to do a bit of live chat, live let's plays, live reactions, and generally just take things as they come and see where we go. For those of you who've been here before for the previous parts of Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, perhaps you were here for the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne stream, you were here for the New Year's Games Jam, or maybe more. A huge welcome back to all of you. And we've got the low lighting here to try and do something a bit more atmospheric. Tell me if it works. If not, I can turn the big lights on. No big deal. Now, on the last stream, we got through to one of the endings, which was actually a rather nice ending in one respect, in terms of how we managed to close off a chapter involving one of the characters. So, we could be going for the true ending. Instead, we're going to go and try the alternate routes, the ones which we left behind. And it's going to involve going back and ignoring a certain phone call. So for this, I've got to try and find the right save data, which is where it's going to get a bit more awkward. I can only apologise for this. For those of you who have been here before, how are you all doing? All of you taking a good day, I suppose. It's been a tough day at the office for me, but that's just the way it goes. Tell you what, I'm going to try the quick load instead. Aha, here we go. I think what we have to do is we have to go back to the shrine and ignore a phone call, from what I remember. Yes, we do. And turn the phone off. So let's start here. Actually, that's the wrong save. No, that's the wrong file as well. I apologise to those people. I'm trying to find the right case where there was literally one where I've got a file and I can literally go straight to the next point. But the problem is I'm trying to find out which one it is. Here we are. So this is the phone call that's come from Amadeus Makase, and we're going to ignore it. That's what we're going to do. We'll do something a bit different here. Just as I was about to put my phone in my pocket, it rang again. At first I thought that Maho might have forgotten to tell me something when I saw the screen. I gasped. What's this? Okabe, who's calling? I stared at the screen, unable to answer. The phone kept ringing. What was the meaning of this? Why would Amadeus, who'd been taken over, be calling me? Was this some kind of trap? What should I do? Answer it? Or... I hesitated a moment, and the call from Amadeus ended. My phone fell silent. What's going on? And right after that, I suddenly felt incredibly dizzy and everything went black. What? What's going on? Oh dear, we're time traveling again. 1081163. I've never seen that one before. I don't think. Amadeus and Salieri. Kurisu and me. These two pairings held a special meaning for me. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. A famous musician, known and loved worldwide.
ヨハンネス・クリゾストムス・ボルフガング・テオフィールス・モーツァルト
His name of baptism was Johannes Christosmosu Wolfgangus Philosophus Mozart.
I completely butchered that trying to do the accent, people. Doing the nasally accent and reading that many names. Johannes Christophermus Wolfgangus Theodophilus Mozart. Try saying that after a few too many in the bar. You will not have a chance.
テオフィールスはギリシャ語で神に愛されたという意味。
Theophilus is a Greek word meaning beloved of God.
モーツァルトはその言葉を気に入り、同じ意味のラテン語アマデウスを通称にしたのだという。
Mozart liked it and chose Amadeus, a Latin word meaning the same thing as his nickname.
彼は35年というその才能に対して悲劇的に短い生涯の中で600曲以上の傑作を後世に残した。
At the end of his tragically short 35-year life, he left us over 600 masterpieces.
アマデウスは文字通り神に愛され、天賦の才を与えられた特別な存在だったのだろうか。
Was Amadeus truly a special person, beloved and granted special, unique gifts by God?
Welcome to music class, people. Make sure you write this down. We'll do an exam later in the stream, I guess. News to me too. I wasn't expecting this.
私はそうは思わない。
I didn't think
確
so.
かに彼は天才だった。けれど、アマデウスにはアマデウスなりの努力と苦労があったに違いない。
He was a genius, sure, but I think Amadeus had his own struggles and suffering to
ど
overcome.
んなに素晴らしい原石を持って生まれたところで、磨き上げなければ宝石にはならない。
No matter how wonderful a diamond in the rough might be, it's worth nothing unless you polish it.
彼の功績を天賦の才によるものと片付けてしまっては、その努力と苦労に対して失礼だ。
Writing off its success as the result of his gifts is an insult to the effort and struggle he put into his work.
しかし、それは同時に、モーツァルトになるためには、彼と同等の原石を持って生まれなければならないということではないだろうか。
But at the same time, if you want to be Mozart, don't you need the same level of raw talent he had?
And yep, Snowbaver, you say it was Mozart on the picture, you know that much. I've essentially ignored a call from Amadeus Makase, and now Maho started to pontificate about Mozart. We'll find out exactly where she's going with it in a moment, I guess.
この世界には、そういう原石を持っている人がたくさんいる。
There are a lot of people in this world with that kind of talent.
マキセ・クリス。
Makise
私に
Kurisu.
とって、マキセ・クリスがそういう人物だった。
To me, that was her.
彼女の佇まいを見れば、彼女の才能を感じることができた。
You could feel her talent just by looking at her.
彼女の中から溢れ出るアイディアの数々に、いつも刺激をもらっていた。
Her constant stream of new ideas was always a source of inspiration to me.
彼女と共に研究ができることが、私には誇らしかった。
I was proud to be able to work with her.
けれど、
But
彼女にとって私がどういう存在だったのか、私は知らない。
I didn't know what I meant to her.
改まって聞くのも気恥ずかしかった。いつか何かのついでに聞ければいいなと思っていた。
It was embarrassing to ask. I always hoped I'd get the chance to bring up the subject someday.
2010年7月28日。
But then, on July 28th, 2010,
マキセ・クリスはこの世を去った。
Makise Kurisu passed away.
And that's exactly right, Snowbaver, yes. I've already had previously two endings in this game. I had a terrible ending involving one of the academics. I had the very cool ending, which happened on the roof of the radio building, and on the last stream I had the other ending, which involved the university. But there are three endings remaining, and I think I've just gone onto a path for one right now by ignoring a phone call. And I know that there's another opportunity later on to do the same thing. and then hopefully we can go after the true ending.
彼女にとって私がどういう存在だったのか、それを知る機会は永久に失われた。
And they lost the chance to find out what I meant to her forever.
ボルフガング・アマデウス・モーツァルト。
Wolfgang Amadeus
生
Mozart.
前、彼を終生のライバルだと考えていた人物が彼のすぐそばで生きていた。
During his life, there was a man very close to him who considered him his greatest rival.
その人物の名はアントニオ・サリエリ。
His name was Antonio
ビ
Salieri.
クトル・コンドリア大学の学内ネットワークでの私のアカウント名サリエリは彼の名から取っている。
I took my account name on the Victor Kandri University network, Salieri, from him.
クリスが亡くなった数週間後、研究所のネットワークシステムが更新され、その時につけた名前だ。
The network got a big update a few weeks after Makise died. That's when I chose it.
Well, Avian jumping in our chat saying, good evening to you, how are you doing? Let's say, you've missed a music lesson so far, that's what's been going on.
生前、クリスと共に開発し、今なお研究を続けているソフトウェアの名に対応させたかった。それ以上の意味はない。
I wanted to match the name of the software that Chrisu and I had been working on before her death, which I still worked on to this day. There was no meaning to it in that.
そのソフトウェアの名前はアマデウス。
The name of that software was Amadeus.
And indeed, Avian, yes, we are almost there. I've got a conference tomorrow evening. Well, late afternoon, and then after that I'm free for the weekend as well.
このニューラルネットワーク型人工知能に天才作曲家の名前を与えたのはレスキネン教授だ。
It was Dr. Leskinen who came up with the idea of naming this neural network-based AI after the genius composer.
Yes, Avian. Now, we're gonna move through the 22 cards of the tarot. The first is the Magician card. I'm half tempted one day to cosplay him at a con just to see if anyone has any idea who the character is.
当時私はそのネーミングをとてもいいアイデアだと思ったはずだし、今でもそう思っている。
At the time, I thought it was a good idea, and I still do today.
そう思っている。
I still do today.
アマデウスとサリエリ、
Amadeus and Salieri,
クリスと私、
Kurisu and me.
その二つは私にとって特別な意味を持った対応だった。
These two pairings had a special meaning for me.
And we're back around to the start of the stream again, people. Are we on a time loop here or what?
私はマキセ・クリスが大好きだった。
I loved Makise Kurisu.
私はクリスを尊敬していた。
I respected Kurisu.
私はクリスに憧れていた。
I admired Kurisu.
私は
I
私
So who's she telling all this to? We're into one called Twin Automata. So that's the name of this chapter then. And now it looks like we're warping back to the world. The sense of dizziness that I'd experienced so many times before slowly faded. I was standing in the middle of the room, holding my phone. There was no question. That was reading Steiner. The world line had changed. But why? What was the cause? Was it that message from Amadeus? No. I could worry about the cause later. For now I needed to know what was going on. I looked around the lab. The place hadn't seemed to change much, but several people were missing. The missing ones were Kaede, Fubuki, and Ferris. Daru was sitting in front of his PC like always. And Miyuri was in the kitchen making instant coffee. Ooh. Thanks for the reminder game. She handed the steaming hot coffee to Maho, who was sitting on the sofa.
真帆さん、はいコーヒー。飲むと落ち着くよ。
Maho, have some coffee. It'll calm you down.
Coffee normally gives you a bit of a high buzz, so I'm not so sure if that's a good idea, Mayashi. Ah, nice one, Snobby. You just finished Steam World Dig and now you're going to play Psychonauts. I remember playing that way back in the day. A very, very interesting game, actually. Really interesting. Had some really creepy stuff despite how cutesy the art style was. Really good game.
ありがとう。いただくわ。
Thanks. I'll take it.
Maho. Maho was here at the lab. Before the worldline changed, she should have been at her office in Wako City.
Phew.
よく考えたら、今朝から何も口にしていなかったわ。
Come to think of it, I haven't had anything to eat all day.
あんなことがあったんだから、無理もないよ。
I can't blame you after what happened.
Okay, something big has clearly happened here. Maho seems very down, hasn't eaten, and Mayuri's saying that something big has gone on. All by not answering Amadeus. I'm intrigued.
何か食べる？唐揚げとかバナナとかお菓子ぐらいしかないけど。
What's the food? All we've got is chicken wings and bananas as snacks, though.
それともお弁当買ってこようかな。あ、ピザを取るのもいいかも。
Or should I get a box lunch from a pizza convenience store? Oh, maybe we could order pizza.
ありがとう。でも大丈夫。そこまでお腹は空いていないから。
Thanks, but I'm okay. I'm not that hungry.
And so you say Psychonauts 2 has been a contender of Game of the Year for you, so you're going to play it straight after 1. I said I've not touched the sequel, but the original game was really, really good. As I've recently obviously started, I've started, by the way, people, a early playthrough of SMT5, and what my idea is to get to a decent level at the point where Nerdy Hound ended the New Year's stream for it, so that we can pick up with that as part 1. Oh, my game's going to be in Japanese, because I prefer the Japanese voice actors to the English ones. However, when I show you what I mean by starting it, I might have potentially broken the game, but we shall wait and see. We're finishing Steins Gate 0 first.
それに、あんなことがあった以上、ホテルを変えないと。手続きが必要だろうから、しばらくしたら戻るわ。
Sounds like the lab attack has gone ahead then. They should talk about changing hotels.
I need to change hotels, too. After what happened, I'll probably have to fill out paperwork. So I'll be back later.
Evening hours to chat, jumping in on the chat box there. You say apparently there's a pizza convention that takes place in Vegas. Right, okay, I'm booking plane tickets, that's it. Pizza convention, I'm there. I'm going, it's happening. Yeah, I wish.
今日は休むべきじゃね？顔色も良くないし、なんならラボに泊まっていけばいいよ。
You sure you didn't just rest for today? You look pale. You can stay here at the lab if you want.
ちょうど鈴葉もいないし、今なら貸し切りなけん。
Suzuha's not here, so you'd have the place to yourself. I listened for a while, but all I learned was that something bad had happened to Maho, and she was staying here for a while. Did it have something to do with Amadeus being taken over?
ヒアジョーさん、一体何があった？
Hyajo, what happened? Maho, Daru, and Miyuri all seemed stunned at the question.
何がって？
What do you mean, what happened?
いや、状況を整理したくてな。
Oh, I'm just having trouble taking it all in.
アマデウスはどうなった？接続は回復したのか？
What happened to Amadeus? Did you get the connection back online? I tried asking, but Maho just frowned, as if she didn't know how to answer. Did that mean Amadeus wasn't taken over at all in this world line? Arthur Jack, you say you've been watching a debate between the biggest sci-fi franchises. I once almost caused a riot at a convention because I had a set of Star Trek fans and a set of Star Wars fans doing the usual banter between each other. One of them turned to me and went, "You, which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars?" And I just smiled and went, "Firefly." I stood there like this as all the heat wafted and blasted my skin off. I've never had heel heat in my life like that, to that level, ever since. Snobby, you say, are there any vegan pizzas? Yes, there are. A lot of pizza dough you can make vegan quite easily. It's mostly just like yeast, flour and water, so that's vegan by itself. In terms of the cheeses, a lot of them use either cheese or coconut-based cheeses, and essentially just put things like courgette or bell pepper or mushroom. A margarita, that's practically vegan, unless you use dairy cheese. It's much easier than you believe.
Oh, come on, Okabe. There's nobody in the office in Wacko City right now. For real?
How does Moeka know what he's saying? Is she hiding in the back?
Kiryu Moeka?
Kiryu Moeka? Why would she be sending me a line?
Yes.
Ah! Surprise, motherfucker. I screamed when I realized that Moeka was right behind me. Where did you come from?
I've been behind you the whole time. Sure, I may not stand out much, but seeing you look like you just ran into a ghost kinda hurts, you know.
Oh! When Moeka is roasting you, you know you done fucked up. Ouch! Boom! I want the icon Suzuha looking pissed off. That's amazing. I want that for my phone.
ずっといたのか?
Were you here the whole time?
Yes.
Did that mean I told Moeka she could come into the lab? What's going on here? Now, Snowbather, if you said to the Star Trek Star Wars fans though they both suck to get out of here nerds, you need more than running. You need the fastest getaway car in the world, ready to drag you out. What do you mean, empty? She was probably talking about the Brain Science Institute's office in Wacko City. No one was there?
It's closed.
Closed? Moeka's fingers raced over the phone. Hang on, whoa, time out. How's she using line on a flip phone? Flip phones do not have the operating system to run them. Flip phones can't run instant messengers. Continuity error. Steins the Game Creators. Continuity error.
Just explain this. There was a gas leak at the lab yesterday. The facility was locked down until they determined the cause. Dr. Hyajo and Professor Leskinen have moved their lab to Tokyo Denki University in the meantime.
Jealous. There was a gas leak yesterday? I didn't remember that. The world line change must have altered the past.
それでヒアジョーさんはここに
So Hyajo came here.
言ったでしょ。それもあるけど、今朝ホテルの部屋が荒らされたって。
I just told you, remember? That's part of it. But someone ransacked my hotel room this morning.
それでやむなく桐生さん経由で岡部さんに連絡を取ったのよ。忘れたの？
So Moeka told me how to contact you. Did you forget?
よく無事だったな。泥棒とは出くわさなかったのか。
I'm glad you were okay. Did you run into the thief?
ええ、運が良かったわ。桐生さんのおかげとも言えるわね。
No, I was lucky. You could say it was thanks to Miyukiryu.
不幸中の幸い。
That was the only bit of luck we had.
So evidently in this world line, Moeka and Hyajo have had their interview. That's the only explanation I've got. Nothing else makes sense. So that's how. I kind of understood how Maho had arrived
と
here.
ころでカガリはどうしてる？
By the way, where's Kagari? Daru looked at me again, confused. But Miyuri smiled.
今頃岩手かな。家族の人に会えてるといいね。
I think she's in Iwate right now. I hope she gets to see her family.
Iwate? Why Iwate? Where did that come
家
from?
族の人が見つかったのか。
They found her family?
それでルカ君とルカ君のお父さんとあとすずさんと4人で会いに行ってるの。
Yep. So Luca and Luca's dad and Suzu all went to see them.
鈴葉がついてるから大丈夫っしょ。
Suzuha's with them, so it'll be fine.
家族。岩手。
Family? Iwate? Things had changed more than I'd imagined. If Kagari was at Iwate, that meant that we hadn't been attacked last night too. So instead of attacking Kagari, they hit Maho's hotel room? This was getting confusing. I knew it would make her think I was a weirdo, but I had Maho explain to me what happened once more. From what she said, most of yesterday hadn't changed much. Maho, Daru, Fubuki, Kaede, Nae, and I had all gone to Yanabayashi Shrine. I love how over it Suzuha is there. Everybody else is made up and then Suzuha's like, get me out of here. Lukako, Miyuri, Kagari, Suzuha, and Faris were all helping out at the shrine in their priestess outfits. That fit with what I remembered. After that, we went to Lukako's house and had a small New Year's party. And then Lukako's father shared some surprising news with us. He'd found out that someone who might be a relative of Kagari's lived in Iwate. Everyone was excited because if they found a relative, it might be the key to getting Kagari's memories back. So early this morning, Lukako and Suzuha went with them to Iwate. Meanwhile, Maho had gotten a call from Dr. Leskinen on her way back from the party. That's when he told her about the gas leak at the office in Wako City. One of the pipes on another floor had some sort of problem, and a small amount of poisonous gas had leaked out into the air. They didn't know what the cause was right now. Actually, yeah, Avian, you're not wrong. Suzu was like, why did I agree to this? What am I doing here? And I would be completely in her corner on that one. Until they knew the cause, they decided on to shut down the office for safety reasons. Depending on what they found, it could take anywhere from a week to a month to resolve the issue. Mao had a lot of work to do because of the office closure, and she was out working until morning. Then she went back to the hotel and slept until she was woken by a call around 10 a.m.
桐生様という方がロビーでお待ちです。
And Miss Kiryu is here to see you in the lobby, ma'am.
そっか、今日は雑誌の取材があるんだったわ。でも着いたらスマホに連絡くれるはずじゃ。
That's right. I had that interview today, but I thought she was going to call my phone.
Oh wow. So the moment you go into a bookstore or any store, you get that same glare given to you, do you, Avian? I'd just be there. I just pull my switch out now and just sit there and game. Knock yourself out. You go and do it all, and I'll be there. Beep, 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 beep.
バッテリーが切れてる。
The battery's dead.
昨日の騒動のせいでホテルに戻ってから充電するの忘れてたわ。
After all the chaos last night, I must have forgotten to charge it when I got back to the hotel.
She'd fallen asleep without even changing clothes, rubbed her sleepy eyes and left the room, wearing the same outfit she'd had on last night. She grabbed her bag, which held a bunch of her documents and her computer, so she thought she'd need it for the interview. In the end, that was what saved her.
それでロビーに桐生さんを迎えに行って、そこで少し話してから2人でまた部屋に戻ったの。
So I went down to the lobby to talk to Kiryu, and then we chatted for a while and came back up to my room.
There were so many people in the lobby that I didn't think I could conduct a good interview.
そして部屋に入ったら、
And when I got inside,
たった数分の間に空き巣が入り込んで部屋中を荒らし回った後だった。
in those few minutes, someone had broken in and ransacked my room.
ご丁寧にベッドも枕もナイフで裂かれてて、部屋が綿まみれになってたわ。
They even ripped the bed and pillows open with a knife, so the whole room was covered with cotton.
ダメね、私。気が動転しちゃって何もできなかった。
I'm no good, huh? I was too panicked to do anything.
Afterward, I called the front desk and then the police. After the police got done with their questioning, Dr. Hyajo still hadn't calmed down, so I decided to message you and have her rest at the lab.
何か盗まれたものは？
Was anything stolen?
警察にも言われて確認したけど、特に何も取られていなかったわ。
The cops asked, so I checked, but I couldn't find anything.
財布もバッグに入れてあったし。
My wallet was in my bag.
部屋を開けている時間短かったから。
And she wasn't out of the room for long.
ええ。それで空き巣も長居できなかったのかもしれないわね。
That's right. So maybe the thief couldn't stay long.
Yeah, thieves don't. They like to get in, strike hard and get out. They don't like to hang around for obvious reasons. It's why they like things that aren't secured, that are easy to grab. There's a reason why in insurance, mobile phones and laptops are deemed some of the highest risk items. Because you don't have to do much setting down to move them.
ヒアジョーさんならまず狙われるのはお金とかよりも研究データとかじゃないか？
Knowing you, they'd probably be more interested in your research data than your money, right?
それも大丈夫。データや資料は全部大学のサーバーに入ってて、パソコンの中には何も残らないようにしてあるの。
I don't have to worry about that. All the data and papers are stored on the university server. Nothing's kept on the computer itself.
あれは
What about the other thing?
あれって？
The other thing?
例のノートパソコンとハードディスク。
That laptop and hard drive. I didn't need to tell her I was talking about the ones that belong to Makise.
大丈夫。
They're fine.
Maho pointed to the bag sitting beside the sofa.
それもバッグに入れっぱなしだったから。
They were still in my bag.
そうか。
I see.
それにあれは仮に盗まれたところでパスワードがわからない限り中身を取り出すのは不可能よ。
And even if someone had stolen them, they couldn't access them without the password.
空き巣の狙いは何だったんだろう。
What do you think they were after?
産業スパイの類なら PC とか書類とかでしょうね。
If they were an industrial spy, probably my computer and papers.
オフィスのガス漏れの件は関係していると思うか？
Think the office leak has anything to do with it?
さあどうかしら。
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Maho's smartphone rang. It was plugged in at the corner of the room, charging. And it has the world's most annoying ringtone. That kind of the person leaves on default when they don't know how to operate a phone, and everyone tells them to shut it up as soon as possible. Evidently, it had charged enough to turn back on. Maho put her coffee cup on the table and stood up. Marika looked at her, worried.
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
ええありがとう。
Yeah, thanks.
Maho took the phone from the charger and looked at it, but still had the good sense to shut that annoying ringtone off before the stream cuts out because you've all had your hearing blown away. But she quickly glanced back at me.
クリスからだわ。
It's from Chrisu.
Huh? Krisu? Did that mean that Amadeus hadn't been taken over? Maho answered the call, turning the phone so I could see it.
先輩大丈夫ですか？怪我とかしてません？
Maho, are you okay? Are you hurt?
Meanwhile, Dragon at the gym is jumping in, saying hello, good evening to you, how are you doing?
乱暴なこととかされませんでしたか？
They didn't get rough with you or anything, right? Huh?
岡部？なんであんたが先輩と一緒にいるの？
Okabe,
What are you doing with Maho? And all the fanfic writers suddenly went, wouldn't you like to know? Snobby, you have the standard Nokia ringtone. I have my ringtone. What do I have? I have a strange default one. I used to have custom ones, but they kind of disappeared. It's a shame, really. I used to like them in songs.
もしかしてあんたと先輩ってもうそんな仲なの？
Hey!
are you two already that close?
そんなんじゃないわクリス。
That's not it, Chrisu.
今ラボにいるのよ。
I'm at the lab right now.
よかった。無事なんですね。
I'm so glad. You're safe then.
ええだから落ち着きなさい。
Yeah, so calm down.
落ち着いていられるわけないでしょ。何回コールかけても繋がらなかったんですよ。
How can I stay calm? I called you a dozen times and you never picked up.
It wasn't the drip version of me, Dragon. You're being incredibly unfair on the person you found by saying that that's the drip version of me. You're being incredibly unfair on them.
ネットを検索したらホテルで空き巣があったみたいだし、それが先輩の部屋みたいだったし。
And when I searched the internet, I saw there was a robbery at the hotel and it was evidently in your room.
とにかく心配したんです。
I was so worried.
オーケーわかった。謝るわ。ごめんなさい。
Okay, got it. I apologize. Sorry.
And by the way, I will say this, Dragon, that message you sent me, I saw it first when I woke up, and that's why I'm like, what? Bruh. Because I still wasn't awake when I saw it, and I thought I was missing something. And it turns out I was. So maybe I was more awake than I thought I was.
ありがとうクリス。私は無事よ。空き巣に入られたのは本当だけど、鉢合わせはしなかった。
And it's unfair on him. To consider that he is any version of me is unfair on the dude. Totally unfair on him. To be compared to me, you have to have seriously failed in life.
Thanks, Chrisu. I'm fine. It's true that I was robbed, but I didn't run into the thief.
今はここで休憩させてもらってる。スマホは充電を忘れて電源が落ちてたの。
I'm taking a break here right now. I just forgot to charge my phone, is all.
心配させたわね。
I must have really worried you, huh?
いえ、何も起きていないならいいんです。
No. If nothing happened, that's fine.
Krisu didn't seem to have changed at all.
Maho explained the events of yesterday to her, the same way she just explained them to me.
というわけで特に盗まれたものはなかったのよ。
So nothing was really stolen. And I say, Makise is looking very disappointed, isn't she? That's a disappointed glare right there. I say, Dragon, I don't know who the guy's called either. I've seen the picture before and I'm just like, oh, what? Whatever. Kurisu seemed to be lost in thought.
どうかした？
What's wrong?
やっぱり犯人の狙いは研究データとかだったんでしょうか。
So, were they after the research data then?
でもさ、犯人ってかなり詳しくマホタンのこと調べてるじゃん。
But they put a lot of effort into learning about Mahotan, right?
泊まってるホテルの部屋も把握してたし、マホタンが部屋を出たと同時に侵入したわけだし。
They knew what hotel she was staying at, what room she was staying in, and they were able to hit it as soon as she left. Let's say, Dragon, if you want to play Steins Gate 0, you need to have played Steins Gate as well, realistically. Well, you can always go to Queen3210's channel and watch the long play, or even watch my archive of when I streamed it, if you just want to play 0. But I think there might even be a bundle on offer at the moment. They usually get bundled together on Steam, the Steins Gate 0. They were also adapted into an anime, I believe, both games, Steins Gate 0 and Steins Gate.
それなのにホテルに研究データを置いてないことを知らないなんてありえる？
Does it make sense that they knew all that and didn't know there was no research at the hotel?
となるとヒアジョーさんがバッグに入れていたノートパソコンを取るつもりだったかもしれないな。
So maybe they were after the laptop in her bag.
でもそれの存在って知っているのは先輩と私と岡部だけのはずよ。
But the only people who should know about that are me, Maho, and Okabe.
あと僕も。
And me too.
なるほど。俺かダルのどちらかが犯人じゃない限りノートパソコンを狙った物取りである可能性はないか。
I see. So unless the thief was Daru or I, there was no chance they were after the laptop.
もう一つ可能性があるとすれば
There was one other possibility. Kurisu put her finger to her temple. Whenever I see that description, I'm always unsure what they mean. Did they mean this or did they mean that? When I see that in books, I always wonder what pose they're going for. I'm never quite sure.
私の制御コードかもしれない。
It could be my control codes.
制御コード？それって管理者パスワードみたいなもの？
Control codes? Is that like the admin password?
ちょっと違うわ。
Not quite.
岡部には前に説明したわよね。アマデウスのシステムの中には私だけがアクセスできる記憶領域があるの。
I've told Okabe about this, I know. There's a space inside the Amadeus system that only I can access.
ああ、秘密の日記のようなものだと言っていたな。
Yeah, you called it a secret diary, basically.
そう。
That's right.
内部外部を問わず私に関するアクセスは常にその秘密の日記の中にログが残る。
Any access to my systems, internal or external, gets logged in that diary.
もし誰かが私の意思を奪って自由に制御するためにシステムを改造したとする。
Let's say someone altered the system to allow them to take me over and control me.
でも秘密の日記の中まではいじれないから私は両者を比較して改造が行われたことを突き止め元に戻せるわけ。
Even if they could do that, they couldn't mess with my secret diary. So I'd compare the two and realize that something had been changed, and then restore it.
ああ、把握した。
Yeah, got it.
その秘密の日記を開ける鍵が制御コードなのか。
And the key to open that secret diary is the control codes.
そういうこと。
That's right. So what would the control codes be exactly? Something to do with Makise and Maho. Something to do with the university, maybe.
アマデウスのシステムやデータの管理責任者はレスキネン教授だけど制御コードを知っているのはこの世界でただ一人。
The Amadeus system and data are all under Dr. Leskinen's control, but only one person in the whole world knows the control codes.
真帆先輩だけなの。
And that's Maho.
そうなのか。
Is that true? Well, why didn't they just kidnap her then? Sorry for being that guy, but wouldn't that be much easier than slashing a hotel? We saw how easy Dr. Reyes picked her up. So a whole squad of goons would have her gone in less than 2 seconds.
ええ、クリスの言う通りよ。
Yeah, Kurisu is right.
仮にその空き巣が私の研究成果を狙っていたのだとしたら、手に入れられるのはそれくらいね。
If they were after my research results, that's about the only thing they could get their hands on.
それは盗まれていないのか。
Was that stolen?
大丈夫よ。ね、先輩。
Don't worry. Right, Maho?
ええ、
Yeah.
制御コードはどこにもメモなんかしてない。
The control codes aren't written down anywhere.
So that's what she's going for. So is that the way she was doing a thinking pose? I've heard of that kind of smug. Oh yeah. But I've never seen people doing that to think. But then again, maybe that's just me. Maho pointed to a temple, just as Kurisu had done.
私の頭の中にしかないから。
They only exist in my head.
And that's a top tip for everyone out there. Never write down your passwords. Or answer those stupid Facebook queries that say your porn name is the street where you grew up on and your mother's maiden name. I still don't get why people fall for that bollocks, but they do. That seemed like a dangerous way to keep them stored, honestly. If the thief found that out, they'd come after Maho herself next.
しかし参ったわね。そうか、制御コードを狙ってるかもしれないのね。
Still, this is bad news. You're right. They might be after the control codes.
日本をすぐに離れるわけにはいかないけど、また襲われるのは避けたいわ。
I can't leave Japan immediately, but I don't want to be attacked again.
とはいえ、どうしたものかしら。
I don't know what to do though.
落ち着くまでラボにいるといいよ。それともマユシーのお家に来る？
You can stay here at the lab until things calm down. Or do you want to come to Mayushi's house?
ありがとう、まゆりさん。でも、そこまで厄介にはなれないわ。
Thanks, Miyuri, but I can't ask that of you.
It hadn't happened in this world line, but I still found myself remembering the attack on a Kagari. Neither Miyuri's house nor the lab seemed safe. I thought, yeah.
で、みんなでうちに来たのかにゃ？
Here you are, Dragon. Your face back in the saddle.
So you okay to me, Nia?
ああ、
That's right. An hour later, we all got to Faris's
み
condo.
んなで散々相談したんだが、フェイリスのマンションに数日滞在させてもらうのが最善なんじゃないかって。
We all talked about it a lot and decided the best thing to do might be to have her stay at your condo for a few days.
なんと言ったらいいか。
I don't know how to say this, but
Maho seemed hesitant, but Faris crossed her arms and nodded, satisfied. And just because you might be interested, that's the full character model for her, by the way. Complete with the heart pause.
その結論は間違ってないにゃ。
you made the right choice, Nia.
確かにこのマンションは万全のセキュリティで守られているから安全にゃ。それに黒木もいるし。
This condo's protected by the best security systems money can buy, Nia. And Kuroki's here too.
Do you think she's that cute, Dragon, that you just want to pat her? Reminds me of Arn in Persona 5 Strikers when she wants to floof Sophia.
黒木？
Kuroki?
さっき玄関で会った羊さんだよ。本物の羊さんなんだよ。
The butler you just met at the door. He's a real butler.
ああ。でも、それがどうしたの？
Yeah, but why does that matter?
Because he's secretly Sebastian from Black Butler and can do all kinds of demonic shit in case anyone tries to break in. Don't fuck with the butler. Number one rule of anime, never fuck with the butler.
黒木さんは最強執事なんだ。
Kuroki is the ultimate butler. Danganronpa, is that you? Kadaka, did you move on to this company after Danganronpa?
Huh?
Huh?
I'll pass on explaining any more than that.
Honestly, I don't know the details myself.
I didn't think it was a good idea to ask him either. He was just an amazing guy, that's all.
フェリスは全く問題なしにゃ。
It's not a problem for Ferris at all, yeah?
奥の客間を使うといいにゃ。数日と言わず、マフニャンが日本に滞在している間はずっと泊まっていけばいいにゃ。
You can use the guest room in the back. You can stay here for more than a few days, Mahonyan. Just stay here as long as you're in Japan, Nia.
Go on then, because you probably find it really cute, Dragon, complete with the eyes closed and the blushing cheeks and the hip curling arm.
マホニャン
Mahonyan?
キリュウさん、何？
Huh? What is it, Kiryu?
取材
Interview.
私ヒアジョ博士に取材をしないと。
I need to interview Dr. Hyajo.
ああ、そうだったわ。今日は本来それをする予定だったのよね。
Oh, that's right. We were supposed to do that today.
日を改めて喫茶店かどこかで。
We can reschedule and meet at a coffee shop somewhere.
ひらめいたにゃ。
I've got it, Nia.
萌
Huh?
えにゃんも一緒にお泊まりすればいいにゃ。
Moe Nian can stay here too. Oh.
Oh fuck no, Moe Nihan. Oh no. Oh. Game, you've excelled yourself. You've managed to scrape the bottom of the barrel when it comes to anime cringe. Moe Nian. That's shameful. That's disgraceful. That's on a whole new level. We've gone through the floor here, people. That's right here. Q-san! My mate is addicted to Yakuza, my mate Nerdy Hound, who joined me for the New Year's stream, and been telling me all the random times you get Q-san when he appears in game.
Huh?
Huh? I don't need to do that. I'm leaving that one as it is.
客間は2人でも十分泊まれる広さがあるんやし。
Oh. It just gets worse.
That was pretty big for two people, Nia.
女の子がもう一人いればマホニャンも安心にゃ。
And you feel better with another girl around, right, Nian? Mahonyan?
それはそうかもしれないけど。
Maybe, but
萌えにゃん、どうかにゃ。
how about it, Moe Nian?
萌えにゃ。
Moe Nian?
But you guys are all acting wrong here in the room. You all should be literally going, ugh, just like I was.
待てフェイリス、それは。
Wait, Ferris, that's... I was about to say that it was dangerous. Kiryu Moeka could be around her. At least I still didn't trust her. But
それいいんじゃね？
he's been far... I think it's a good idea. Oh yes, you fucking would, wouldn't you? You fucking would.
桐生氏って裏稼業に片足突っ込んでる関係で 護身術も身につけてるって言ってたじゃん。でしょ？
Kiryu does some dirty work herself, and she says she knows self-defense, right? Yeah. Suddenly, I'm actually really sympathetic towards her. She's got that same look of "get me the fuck out of here" that I've had since this scene started.
一応
Yes, I guess.
僕やオカリンなんかよりよっぽど強いってことだ。
She's a lot stronger than me or Ocarine.
だが
What?
どうにゃもいにゃん。
Well, Moinyan,
構わない
I don't mind.
決まりにゃん。
Then it's settled, Nia.
二人もいたらお邪魔じゃないかしら。
Would it be a bother having the both of us?
全然気にしなくていいにゃ。
Don't worry about a thing, Nia.
フェイリスは一人っ子だったから、お姉さんと妹ちゃんが増えたみたいで嬉しいにゃ。
Ferris is an only child, so they'd be like having a big sister and a little sister, Nia.
They're both older than you! They're both way older than you, Ferris!
What?
私は成人してるわよ。
Knew it, caught it!
I'm an adult!
In the end, my opposition to it was completely ignored. Ah, it's over. Thank fuck for that. The next day was the last day of the New Year's break. I came to Akihabara for the third day in a row. I wanted to visit Ferris's condo and check up on Maho.
いや違うか
No, that's not right.
桐生萌香の様子を確認するためだな
I'm here to check up on Kiryu Moeka. Yeah, Aaron, you got it right. Both were indeed older than her. So, yeah. I'm just glad we didn't get Daru doing some kind of joke about the sisters' harem or something like that. Because that would have tipped me over the edge. Maho and Moeka had ended up staying together yesterday, without anyone really thinking about it. Moeka would get to interview Maho, and Maho would feel better having someone around. So this was probably the best option. But I knew something about Moeka that no one else did. Kiryu Moeka was a rounder, and when she wore a black motorcycle gear she suddenly looked a lot more badass. Because that is an easily better look than what they give her in the game now. That looks way cooler. She didn't know self-defense. She knew how to kill someone if she needed to. Avian, I'd like to think the game took pity, but I don't trust it. I really don't. But who would she try to kill? In this world line, I wasn't looking for the IBN 5100 or making a time machine. The rounders were probably ignoring us.
理屈では分かっているんだが
I know that in my head, but... Even on the last day of vacation, Akihabara was as lively as ever. Hours were shorter than usual, but everywhere from the appliance stores to the maid cafes were still open. In fact, there were lucky bags of special New Year's sales that you could only get today, and some customers had come for those. The sidewalks were filled with girls in dazzling kimonos who'd come from the nearby shrine, as well as the usual Akihabara otaku. The place was even more chaotic than usual.
そういえばメイクインも正月休まず営業中なんだよな
Come to think of it, May Queen Dianyan should still be open too. Ferris and Miyuri both said that they were working there today.
じゃあマンションにはあの二人しかいないのか
Then it's just those two at the condo, huh? Kuroki should be there too, I guess.
大丈夫だよな
That's okay, right? It was hard to imagine Moeka doing anything to Maho, Like, for example, attacking her. Momeka had no reason to do that. But even if I knew that in my head, it didn't make controlling my emotions any easier. It had bugged me enough last night that I'd barely been able to sleep. If I saw the two of them living together without any kind of problem, maybe I'd feel better. I hurried to Faris's condo.
ようこそおいでくださいました、岡部様。
Welcome, Master Okabe. Kuroki the butler welcomed me. He was the ultimate butler, who'd taken care of Faris after her parents died and left her all alone. He still helped her in her work, and was one of the few people that she trusted completely.
申し訳ありません。お嬢様は外出しております。
I'm sorry, sir. The mistress is out at the moment.
あ、はい、分かってます。ヒアジョーさんに会いに来たんですが。
Oh, yeah, I know. I came to see Hyajo.
お二人は客間にいらっしゃいます。どうぞお上がりください。
The two of them are in the guest room. Please come in.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
それでは私はこれで。
Let me know if you need anything, sir. Kuroki spun around 180 degrees with the same trained and effortless movement as always, then went to take the shortest path back to his room. Now, seeing butlers in games always reminds me of that evil trick he could do in Tomb Raider 2, where you could lock the butler in the fridge. Own up in the comments, who else did it? Who else locked the butler in the fridge in Tomb Raider 2? I know you all did it even if you won't admit it.
おっと。
Oh dear! He must have tripped because he staggered slightly and stopped.
失礼いたしました。私としたことが。
My apologies, sir.
大丈夫ですか？
Are you alright?
疲れているのかもしれません。お恥ずかしいところをお見せしました。
Perhaps I'm tired. How embarrassing.
いえ。
Oh, no.
少し休めば問題ありません。失礼いたします。
I'll be fine once I get a little rest. Excuse me. His expression didn't change, but the tone of Kuroki's voice was slightly embarrassed as he headed for his room.
珍しいものを見たな。
That's rare.
どんな時でも冷静沈着なロボットみたいな人が来客の前でよろめくなんて。
He's usually so robotic. I can't believe I just saw him stagger in front of a guest.
ヒアジョーさん、いるか？
I don't know if I accidentally skipped a scene then. I do apologise. We'll just quickly go to the backlog. Yes. He said he was tired. Has something been stressing him out? No. For now, I needed to worry about Maho. I think what I did there was I caught my keyboard because I need to very quickly go away from the screen. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I just had to go and refill my water. It was lighter than I expected, so I quickly grabbed one from the fridge, and now I'm back. Here we go. Hyajo, you here? Okabe, come in.
なんだこれは。
What the hell? I was stunned as I came into the room and saw they were all kitted out in Faris's spare maid uniforms. It was definitely the same guest room I'd been in several times before. Probably. Okay, let's see what's changed. But everything about it had changed. First, the bed was gone, and had been replaced by a really big desk and a low Japanese table. And what appears to be a load of research papers? Well, that was an anticlimactic build-up, wasn't it? Maho was sitting at the desk, glaring at a 16-inch laptop as she sipped coffee from a mug. There was a small laptop on the low table, and Moeka was kneeling directly on the carpet in front of it, legs splayed, tapping away at the keyboard. Behind them was a steel bookshelf, and I could see English language journals and fashion magazines sticking out of it. Until yesterday, this had been a guest room. In less than a day, it had been transformed into Maho and Moeka's workspace.
もうちょっとで終わるからその辺に座っててくれる？
I'm almost done. Can you sit over there?
Maho put down the coffee cup without looking away from the screen, which was filled with complicated and constantly changing 3D graphs. Moeka tapped at the keys silently, without even bothering to look at me. So they turned it into an investigation room. Props to them for that one. What the hell is going on here? Did the world line change again? I quickly covered my mouth with my hand, but the two of them were so engrossed in their work they didn't respond at all.
よしっと。
And there we go.
Once she hit a stopping point, Maho spun around in her chair to face me.
こんにちは、岡部さん。
Hello, Okabe.
She didn't seem to think that anything was out of the ordinary.
もしかして様子を見に来てくれたの？
Did you come to see how I was doing? That's nice of you.
Yeah.
せっかく来てくれたのにごめんなさい。今から桐生さんの取材を受けなきゃならないの。
Sorry if you come all this way, but I have to do Moeka's interview right now.
それはいいが、この部屋の惨状を説明してくれないか？
That's fine, but can you explain how this room got wrecked?
惨状？
Wrecked?
なかなか居心地のいい環境だと思うんだけど。
I think it's quite a nice environment.
昨日はこんなに散らかってなかったぞ。
It wasn't this much of a mess yesterday. Maho seemed confused for a moment, but finally seemed to understand what I was saying.
出歩くのが危険なんだったら、ここで研究をするしかないでしょ？仕事をしやすいように模様替えしたのよ。
It's dangerous to go walking around, so I have to do my research here, right? So I reorganize things to make it easier to work.
模様替え？
Reorganized? And to be fair, how many of us were doing that for offices at home for the last year and a half? Speaking of which, someone told me a terrible joke today. Some point this year you're going to have a moment where you realise that 2022 is pronounced 2022. Yes, it's the sequel you never asked for, people. I was just groaning and rolling my eyes. I'm like, bruh, really? This went far beyond what I'd call reorganisation. Neither Daru nor I were very good at cleaning, but we weren't this bad.
これ全部自分たちで用意したのか？
Did you get all this together yourself?
そうよ。桐生さんもここで記事を書くって言うから、二人で必要な家具や資料を洗い出したの。
That's right. Kiryu said she'd write her article here, so we came with a list of all the furniture and materials we'd need.
ね。
Right?
この短時間で机や本棚はどこから持ってきたんだ？
Why did you get a desk and bookshelf on such short notice? Go on then, what's your son?
I can write articles anywhere, but I'm a bodyguard, so we need to stay by Dr. Hyajo's side.
Wow, Avian! You kicked your pal out of their office and made it your own. Damn, that's reclaiming territory.
You're so far behind the times, Okabe. You can get almost anything off the net in a day these days.
And Moeka would be correct. That's how long it took for me to get my Nintendo Switch OLED. It took 2 days for SMT5 to arrive, mind.
I asked Tatsuhyajo what she wanted and ordered it off the net. Jealous?
俺はてっきり
I was sure.
てっきり何？
Sure of what?
あいやなんでもない
No, nothing. I thought the world had changed and I hadn't realized it. But evidently I've been worried over nothing.
机や棚の組み立ても2人でやったのか
Did you put the desk and bookshelf together on your own?
執事の方にお願いしたわ。あの人すごいわね。
We asked the butler. He's really amazing.
だから黒木さん疲れてたのか
Oh, so that's why he was tired. Yeah, that explained a lot. But just hearing all this had exhausted me. I found a place to sit down and... Oops. I caught my foot on something. Looked down to see a thick book. Its pages still open. What's this?
それはまた後で見るから避けて通って。ページをめくらないように注意してね。
Leave that there, because I'm going to read it later. Make sure you don't turn any pages.
後って
Later?
概算だけど19時間後くらいかしら。
About 19 hours from now,
As a rough estimate. Wow. That's micromanaging and planning your day to a T where you can say in 19 hours I'm going to be doing something. Says the guy who schedules 3-hour slots on the internet 2 days in advance. I'm gonna shut up now.
本棚があるんだから読まない間はしまっておけばいいんじゃないか
You've got a bookshelf. Why not put it away if you're not reading it?
すぐに再読するつもりの本をいちいち本棚に戻すなんて非合理的よ。科学者の取るべきアプローチではないわ。
I'm going to start reading it again soon, so it makes no logical sense to put it back on the shelf each time. That's not a very scientific approach.
そういう問題か
Is that how it works? I looked at the floor and saw 4 other open books. That wasn't all. The carpet was strewn with papers, used cups of instant ramen, bath towels, handkerchiefs, and other things. Their old clothes were lying out too. I saw a skirt, a t-shirt, a blouse, socks, tights, and other items of clothing. He's not sounding like a creep at all. It was a lot like when I visited Moeka's house in the other world line, before all this. Evidently neither Mako nor Moeka were the type to worry about keeping things clean. There was enough space around the low table to move, but there was enough junk around where Moeka was sitting that it would be impossible to sit next to her.
本や書類以外のものは横にどかしてもいいかな
Can I move anything that's not a book or
ど
paper?
うぞ。
Go ahead.
Okay. Since they'd given their permission, I leaned over to pick up a pink towel. Huh? It wasn't a towel. It was a pink bra. And he's gone for it right in front of the pair of them. Monokuma! Where are you when I need you? What? My brain utterly failed to process this new development, and I froze with my hand still holding it high in the air. Well, if you're gonna have a brain fade, do it in style, I guess. Moeka was looking up at me blankly. No, this is, well...
Okabe, that's mine.
You can't just go touching a girl's underwear. And she'd be correct. They may have left it lying around, but that's not an invitation. I couldn't help it! Of all the words. Now's not the time to say you couldn't help it, Okabe. Hang up the keys to the JCB. Just say you're sorry and let it go. And by let it go, I mean drop the fucking bra. Well, that's close enough, I guess. I screamed and threw the bra away. Monica glanced downwards. Her cheeks were slightly flushed. Her hands quickly moved to cover up her chest. Her chest is covered? I didn't mean anything by it. I tried as best I could to get it out of my mind. Then found a space in the corner that was still relatively clean and sat down.
お茶はセルフサービスよ。冷蔵庫はそこ。
Drinks are self-service. The fridge is over there.
There was a round pink fridge in the corner with plastic cups on top. You bought a fridge too?
Oh. It's so convenient having a fridge at work. You don't have to leave to go get drinks, so the only time you have to leave to rooms to go to the bathroom.
Moeka, don't be giving bosses excuses. You give enough of your time. Don't make them take more of it. What's with the downward icon? Why?
社会不適合者が2人集まるとこういう空間が生まれるのか。
I guess this is what happens when you get two people together who lack basic survival skills.
主観の相違よ。
That's just your subjective opinion.
むしろ知的生産活動に最適化された生活空間と言ってほしいわね。
I prefer to think of it as a space maximized for creative output.
It looked like I'd been worried over nothing after all. If nothing else, Moeka didn't seem to feel any animosity towards Maho, and Maho seemed to be enjoying the company. The thought of the two of them picking up furniture together honestly seemed kind of cute. I was glad I came to check on things. I'd be able to sleep just fine tonight. With my task completed, I could have just left, but I decided to stay and watch the two of them a little while longer.
じゃあ桐生さん、そろそろ取材を始めましょうか。
Alright, Kiryu. Ready to start the interview?
分かった。
Okay.
Moeka closed the laptop and moved it to the side, then started to go through her bag.
取材って具体的に何をするんだ？
So, what exactly are you doing
イ
here?
ンタビューよ。
An interview.
インタビュー？
An interview?
本当なら昨日ホテルで取材を受ける予定だったの。
We were supposed to do it in the hotel yesterday, actually.
Which she's already told you at least 3 times, Okabe. Keep up.
The special is on the front lines of artificial intelligence research.
Oh.
I'm working on a special article for a business magazine arc rewrite.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm supposed to write about Datsuhyajo, what she's done and what she's working on right now. I can find all that from the net, but that doesn't make for a good article, you know.
意外と仕事熱心なんだな。
I didn't expect you to be so serious about your job.
文章を書くのは好きだから。
I like to write.
In the Alpha World line, Moeka's job was just to cover to hide her works around her. And even then, she'd been fired for incompetence, as I recalled. But in this world line, she seemed to be a hard worker. Was she actually working as a rounder?
私としてもこんなにお世話をかけているから、せめて桐生さんの仕事に協力できればなって。
She's done so much for me, so the least I can do is help her with her work, I think.
人工知能研究について多くの人に知ってもらえれば、私にとってもプラスになるし。
It'll be good for me if more people learn about artificial intelligence too.
桐生さん、準備できたかしら？
You ready, Kiryu? Yeah.
Moeka nodded and the interview began. Or... it didn't, actually. In other words,
out! Well, this is a problem.
桐生さんは口下手だとは思っていたけど、ここまでとは。
I knew Kiryu wasn't the talkative type, but I didn't think it was this bad.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. Even I could tell that Moeka was doing a horrible job. It wasn't even an interview. Instead of asking questions, Moeka just sat there with a memo pad and ball pen in her hands, completely unmoving. She looked like she was about to cry. Maho and I tried our best to help move things along, but it didn't work. So get them tapping then. How many times has she messaged you online while you're in the room, Okabe? Get them messaging each other.
どうしましょうか。また後日にする？
What should we do? Try again another day?
締め切りが
My deadline
スケ
is...
ジュールギリギリなの。
My schedule's really tight.
そう。それなら今日中に済ませてしまうべきね。
I see. Then we should finish it today.
とはいえ、今すぐ桐生さんの口下手がどうにかなるってことはないわよね。
But I don't think we can turn you into an extrovert right away.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. Moeka apologized in a soft, thin voice. She still looked like she could cry in frustration at any moment.
ああ、違うの。
Oh, no!
誤解しないで。桐生さんを責めているわけじゃないわ。
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not blaming you.
今のは準備なのよ。問題を解決するために検討すべき条件を列挙しているだけ。
That was just the prep work. I'm listing the conditions we need to examine in order to solve the problem.
問題？
The problem?
え
Yes.
え、インタビューを完遂したい。これが問題。
We want to complete the interview. That's the problem.
条件としては、桐生さんが取材できないのであれば、別のインタビュアーが必要。
And so if Kiryu can't do it, we need someone else to do the job.
それも、できれば情報工学にそれなりの知識がある人。
Someone fairly well informed about information science too.
かつ、今すぐに手伝ってくれる人。
And also, someone who can help right now. In other words, Okabe, you just got drafted.
あ、
Oh. The two of them looked at me at the same time. Huh?
もしかして俺のことか？
Do you mean me?
難易度の低い問題だったわね。
I guess that wasn't a very hard problem.
岡部さん、ちょっとお願いできない？
Think you can do it, Okabe?
いや、そんな突然言われても。
No, I don't know about this.
岡部さんは条件にぴったりよ。専門も多少近いし、勘どころを抑えた質問をしてくれるんじゃないかしら。
You're perfect. It's pretty similar to your major, so you can ask solid questions.
何せ、レスキネン教授に一目惚れされるような潜在的才覚をお持ちのようですから。
You got enough latent talent for Dr. Leskinen to fall in love at first sight, after all.
買いかぶらないでくれ。どこにでもいる典型的な日本の大学生だよ。
Don't flatter me. I'm just your typical Japanese university student.
冗談よ。でも、適任だと思ってるのは本当。
I'm joking, but I do think you're perfect for the job.
いや、しかし。
No, but...
As for me, too. I could pay a little.
I gotta say, that's a pretty cute icon, actually. Holding up the phone saying thanks. I actually really like that. Oh, except when it's spammed 19 times. An interview, huh? If that would give me an opportunity to observe how they lived and also get me some pay, it wasn't a bad idea. Yeah, you gotta pay. You gotta pay. That's... I've been spending enough time at the lab over the holidays that have been cutting into my work hours. And lately I started to dream about going to Victor Conjurer University too. The chance to talk to Hyajo Maho, a very talented AI engineer, was invaluable. A lot of people probably would have paid money for it.
わかったわ。
I'll do it.
俺もヒアジョさんの研究には興味があるしな。
I am interested in your work too.
俺でよければ協力させてくれ。
If you want my help, I'll be glad to.
ありがとう。そう言ってくれると助かるわ。
Thanks. That really is a big help.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
それじゃあ早速始めましょう。桐生さん、記録はどうする？
Alright, let's start. Kiryu, how are we going to get this down?
録音する。
I'll record it.
Moeka took out a voice recorder and put it on the desk.
私のペースで進めてしまっていいのよね。
I can take the lead, right?
That's an interesting little shot, isn't it? In terms of the style. And indeed, we have almost reached today's date. You're not wrong, Avian. You're absolutely right. We've been past it multiple times before, but on this playthrough, we're almost there.
いい。
Yes.
自由に喋ってくれて。後で編集する。
Talk freely. I'll edit it later.
You'll edit it later. Fishing for information, maybe?
俺は何を聞けばいいんだ？
What should I ask?
一応言っておくと、俺だって人工知能については平均的日本人程度の知識しか持ってないぞ。
Just so we're clear, I don't know much more about AI than your average Japanese person.
そうね。私が思いつくままに喋ってもいいけど、
I can just talk about whatever occurs to me, but
せっかくだからディスカッション形式にしましょうか。その方が話も弾むでしょうし。
why don't we make it a discussion format? That'll be more interesting, I'm sure.
The second she said those words, my mind filled with memories of the past. Yep.
まあはいいいですよ。ディスカッション形式の方が話も弾むでしょうし。
Well, sure. A discussion format would make things more interesting.
岡部さん、どうかした？
Okabe, what's wrong?
大丈夫？
You okay?
Huh? Both Maho and Moeka were staring at me confused.
ディスカッション形式がお気に召さないなら、
If you don't want to do it that way,
いや、そういうわけじゃない。
No, it's just fine.
すまない。クリスが君と同じことを言っていたのを思い出したんだ。
Sorry, I just remember when Karisu said the same thing as you.
クリスが？いつ？
Karisu did. When?
彼女が来日した時に ATF でタイムマシンの講義を。
When she came to Japan, she gave a speech at the ATF on the time machine. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. That happened in another world line. In this world line, Karisu died before she ever gave that lecture on the time machine or came to the lab.
いや、勘違いかな。
No, I must have been mistaken.
腰を折ってすまなかった。気にしないでくれ。
Sorry for getting things off track. Don't worry about me. Nice try, Okabe. It's not gonna work. The moment you dangle a carrot like that, people are gonna chase towards it.
そう？大丈夫ならいいけど。
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
さて、何から始めましょうか。
So, where do we begin?
そうね。人工知能の研究はコンピューターの誕生とほぼ同時期からスタートしているの。
Let me see. Research in artificial intelligence began almost at the same time computers were born.
私たちが作っている人工知能の心臓部はニューラルネットワークという技術をベースにしているのだけど、
The core of the AI we're creating is based off of what's called neural network technology.
この技術が提案されたのが1950年頃。
This technology was first proposed in the 1950s.
世界初のノイマン型コンピューターとされるエニアックが発表されたのが1946年よ。ほぼ同じよね。
ENIC, the world's first von Neumann architecture-based computer, was announced to the world in 1946. So basically the same time, right?
Okay, that's two clues that have gone way over my head, so let's find out what they are. So ENIAC, the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. The very first computer built in 1947 in America is used to calculate artillery tables, and the mathematician John von Neumann participated in its development. It used over 17,000 vacuum tubes and was over 1,000 times faster than existing electronic calculators. However, vacuum tubes at the time were very poorly made, and several would break and have to be replaced each day. ENIC is often called the world's first general-purpose electronic computer, but others such as Aston's soft Berry computer existed before it did. Thus it's more precisely described as the first computer that became widely known. Basically it used valve tubes, and they blew out all the time. Computers in that period were bigger than most houses, and yet they contained less RAM capability than a 1980s arcade machine, because they didn't have computer chips, and they couldn't process. Meanwhile, von Neumann architecture is a type of computer architecture first proposed in 1946 by the mathematician John von Neumann. Almost all modern computers use von Neumann architecture. Early computers made no distinction between what we would now call an operating system and a program, and were composed entirely of physical wiring, greatly limiting their potential. Von Neumann's system was one where not only data but a program itself could be loaded into hardware memory as needed from an external source and executed. For those of you who remember floppy disks, you'll know exactly what they're getting at there.
当時コンピューターは魔法のような機械だった。
At the time, computers were basically magic.
一度プログラムさえ組めばどんなに複雑な計算でも自動的に解いてくれるのだから。
Once the program was done, it would automatically solve any problem for you, no matter how complicated.
まあこれは今でもそうだけど。
Well, that's still true today. Kind of like the YouTube algorithm.
It's a bad joke, I know. Let's move on.
だから当時の研究者はもっとすごいプログラムを書けばもっと多くの問題を解いてくれるだろうと考えた。
So scientists at the time decided that if they wrote a program that was even more amazing, it could solve many more problems.
コンピューターが究極的に進化すればまるで人間のように知性を持ち思考するコンピューターが作れるようになるだろうとね。
They felt that the ultimate evolution of the computer would be one that could think and learn like a human.
けれど残念ながらそうはならなかった。
But unfortunately, they were unsuccessful.
Until Big Blue defeated Garry Kasparov in chess back in the 1990s. I think it was the 1990s. Anyway, Big Blue, the world's first computer to beat a chess grandmaster. Yeah, it wasn't the 80s, I'm pretty sure it was the 90s where that happened. Garry Kasparov, the first man to fail against the machine in the game of chess.
人間のような包括的な機能を有する人工知能は21世紀に至る今もまだ作られていない。
Even now in the 21st century, we've been unsuccessful in creating an AI with general purpose intelligence, like a human.
Well, if you believe Facebook and their metaverse, that's coming very soon. And technically, some companies do run what are known as robots for simple application jobs. But it's not general purpose intelligence, it's just basically executing tasks based off an algorithm.
もちろん人工知能学者が何もやってこなかったって話じゃないのよ。
Of course, it's not like we've been sitting on our butts and doing nothing.
Avian, you ask if he raged. I'm pretty sure he did actually. I'm sure I've seen a clip of him getting up from the table with his hands on his head, unbelievably. If you run a search for, I think you run a search for Big Blue chess match, it comes up. It's like really primitive footage, but it's there. I think he's wearing a blue suit, and he gets out of his chair really quite upset.
むしろ逆。
It's the exact opposite.
究極の人工知能は完成に至っていないけど、研究の過程で数えきれないほどの成果を情報科学分野にもたらしたわ。
We failed to create the ultimate artificial intelligence, but we succeeded in bringing all kinds of benefits to the field of information science.
例えば画像をスキャンして文字を読み取る OCR 技術。これは人間が文字を認識するメカニズムとも共通点がある。
For example, OCR technology, which scans an image and reads the letters on it, is similar to the methods that humans use to recognize letters. OCR, something reader, I'm guessing that's going to stand for. Let's find out. No, optical character recognition technology. Apparently the technology allows computers to read and recognize letters written on a human. While humans can easily read text composed of letters, unless it's my handwriting, no one can read that. This is extremely difficult for a machine to do so. At first it was a problem in pattern recognition, which is a field of AI research, but OCR technology has advanced to the point that it's used in many commercial services. Indeed it is.
近いうちにスマホに音声認識システムが搭載されるかもっていう噂があるけど、
I've heard rumors that before long, smartphones are going to have good voice recognition built into them too. Hey Google. Nope, doesn't work. Wow, Avian, I can't believe I missed that one. No, you're right, yeah. Rage Against the Machine. Who had that music playing as part of his stream on New Year's Eve? This guy. I'll check out right now.
それも以前は人工知能研究の一環だったの。
That was also a field of study in AI research.
けれど研究が始まってから60年が経った今も人間と同じように機能する汎用的な人工知能の開発には世界中の誰も成功していない。
But even 60 years after the field got its start, no one succeeded in creating an artificial intelligence that had the comprehensive capabilities of a human.
アマデウスを除けばね。
Except for Amadeus, of course.
どうして誰も成功していないんだ？
Why did no one succeed?
ごく簡単に言えば脳の原理が解明できていないからかしら。
I suppose the simplest way to say it would be that you don't know how the brain works. Maho tapped her temple with her index finger.
脳にはまだ未知の部分が多いのよ。
There's still a lot about the brain we don't know. Which is why you still see people like the Paul brothers. They're an example of why no one knows about the brain. Because somehow they exist.
なぜたかが1000億個程度の神経細胞で構成された生体コンピューターが驚くべき性能を発揮できるのか。
How can a biocomputer made of just 100 billion neurons possess such power?
なぜ大量の情報を整理して記録し、かつ瞬時に利用できるのか。
How is it capable of recording and instantly accessing such a huge volume of information?
なぜ一見すると無関係の事象を組み合わせてひらめくなんてことができるのか。
Why is it capable of things like insight, where two seemingly unconnected events are put together?
あげればいくらでもあるわ。
I could come up with all kinds of examples.
他にも人間には容易に解けるのにコンピューターに解けない問題とかもあるしね。
There are a lot of problems that humans can solve easily, but that computers can't solve at all.
そんな問題が？
There are.
たくさんあるわよ。それらの問題を一つずつ解明していくのが私たちの研究だとも言えるわね。
Plenty. You could say that our job is going through each one and solving it in turn.
いまいちイメージが湧かないな。
I think I'm having a little trouble seeing what you're getting at.
何か具体例を教えてもらえないか？
Can you give me a concrete example?
そうね。フレーム問題について説明してみましょうか。
Maybe I'll tell you about the frame problem.
例えば桐生さんがロボットだとしましょう。
Let's say Kiryu was a robot. I love the way they animated the sudden turn. It had that whole alert moment. It's like, what did you say? I like that.
Monica had been making notes, but she suddenly jerked up when her name was said.
私がロボット。
I'm a robot?
正確にはロボットに搭載された人工知能ね。
More accurately, the AI loaded into a
桐生
robot.
さん、テーブルを使いたいのだけど、レコーダーを少しどかしてもらってもいいかしら。
Kiryu, I'd like to use that table. Can you move the voice recorder a little?
Monica moved the voice recorder from the table to the floor. Maho started to rummage through her bag as she did so.
確かこの中に。あ、これこれ。
I'm sure it's in here. Ah, here we go.
She took out a small white box, small enough to fit inside her tiny hands. She opened it and extracted the contents. It was an Upa, the same thing Miyuri collected. Maho handed it to me, so I touched it. Hold on a second. Is that a metal Upa? Game, are you going for the bullshit butterfly effect moment here? It had the texture of an eraser.
昨日まゆりさんがくれたの。可愛いわよね。
It's definitely not the metal one then. Thank God for that.
Mayuri gave this to me yesterday. Cute, huh?
Was it really? I never quite understood what girls, particularly Miyuri, would find so cute. I returned the Upa to her. She put it back in the box, closed the lid, and put the box in the center of the table.
今から簡単な実験をしてみるわね。
I'm going to do a simple experiment right now.
岡部さん、桐生さんに命令して、その箱の中にあるウーパを取り出させてみて。
Okabe, order Kiryu to take the Upa out of the box.
命令？
Order her?
そうよ。桐生さんという人工知能が正しく動作するようにプログラムを送信するわけ。
That's right. She's an AI. So just send her a program that she'll perform the right movements.
正しく動作するように。
The right movements.
命令はできるだけ簡潔で、かつ厳密なものが望ましいわ。
They should be as simple and as specific as possible.
例えば、この部屋の中には箱がたくさんある。
For example, there are a lot of boxes in this
だけ
room.
ど、他のどれでもなく、テーブルの上に置かれたこの箱を開けるように指示しなきゃダメ。
But you need to tell her to open the one on the table, and not any of the others.
送れる命令は文章だけ。指をさしてこの箱って示すのは反則よ。
You only get to send words. No pointing and saying this box.
桐生さんは岡部さんに言われた命令をそのまま実行してみて。
Kiryu, do exactly what Okabe orders you to.
言われたことだけを可能な限り忠実に行うの。いいかしら。
Do only what he says, as faithfully as possible. Get it?
It's an interesting experiment. This I've done similar things like this at work, where it basically you have to talk about communication. And one of the more classics ones you have is where two people sit back to back, and what someone has to do is describe an object, and the other person has to draw it. So if you have, for example, what's a good example on my desk here? Pair of glasses. I'd literally have to say things like they are a black frame but only cover half of the lenses and all that kind of specific description, and see if they can get anywhere close to the actual image. And they have to do it by your exact instructions. It's really amusing how poor we are at doing it when you have to take away the intuition parts of it, the points that you can introspect and fill in the gaps yourself. Taking away that ability, you'd be amazed how far away from the goal you end up.
わかった。
Okay.
では実験開始。岡部さん、命令をどうぞ。
Let's start the experiment. Okabe, go ahead and give your orders.
I didn't quite get the point of all this, but I decided to just say the first thing that came to my mind.
テーブルの上にある真っ白な箱を開けて、中にあるものを取り出してくれ。
Open the pure white box on the table and take out the contents.
桐生さん、 今のが命令よ。
Kiryu, that's your order.
テーブルの上にある真っ白な箱を開けて、中にあるものを取り出してくれ。
Open the pure white box on the table and take out the contents.
Let me guess, it won't be pure white because the shade will be like cream or something like that.
言われた通りに行動してみて。可能な限り忠実によ。
Do as you were told, as faithfully as possible.
Moeka's gaze moved from me to the box on the table.
できない。
I can't.
え、
Huh?
箱を開けるだけだろ。
You just have to open the box, right? I pointed to the box in the center of the table, uncertain as to what was going on. Moeka just looked back at me, clearly upset. Maho nodded, satisfied.
仕方がないのよ。ほら。
She can't help it. Look.
Oh, we got 75% of the CGs now. You can see the trophy that's popped up in the corner. Maho picked up the box and showed me the other side. Yep.
なんだこれ。
What is this? So it's not quite what I said. It's not the tone, but there was something that was going to stop it being pure white. It was the use of pure white that confused it.
デア・アルテ・ベルフェルト・ニヒト。
Oh, here we go, people. I've got to try and do this in a cutesy voice.
Der alte Würfel nicht.
I apologise profusely to the German audience. I have just butchered your language. What does the tip mean then? Der alte Würfel nicht. A phrase found in a letter written by theoretical physicist Albert Einstein to his good friend, theoretical physicist Max Born, in December of 1926. In English it translates to God does not play dice. Einstein made great contributions to early quantum theory, but he was skeptical of the field's central idea, that quanta behave in a probabilistic manner. This phrase was intended to express his disagreement with this idea. Interesting.
神はサイコロを振らない。アインシュタインの言葉よ。
God does not play dice. Something Einstein said.
これが書いてあったから、桐生さんは箱を開けられなかったのよ。そうよね。
Kiryu couldn't open the box because of this, right?
そう。
That's right.
え、そうなのか。なんで。
Huh? Is it? Why?
文字が書いてあることと命令に従えないことに何の関係があるんだ。
Because they're not pure white. The text is black or grey, whatever the colour is. What about those words means you couldn't follow the instructions?
真っ白じゃないから。
It wasn't pure white.
え？
Huh?
桐生さん、あなたは正しいわ。
Kiryu, you're exactly correct.
岡部さんの命令は真っ白な箱を開けて中身を取り出せだったでしょ。
Okabe's orders were to open the pure white box and take out the contents, right?
でもこの箱は真っ白じゃない。文字が書いてあるもの。
But this box isn't pure white. It's got something written on it.
I can actually give you an example of where I did something very similar to this, because for those who don't know, I do have a form of autism, I have Asperger's. And one of the times I had an assessment, and one of the things I was linked to was a website where you could like basically answer all the questions and it taught you about yourself. Great website I highly recommend using called Genius Within. And essentially it talks about what kind of person you are. So are you good at problem solving? Are you someone who needs structures? Are you flexible? All those kind of things. And when I went into the meeting after presenting these findings, because you get a very deep assessment, it's about 80 questions you answer, it's one of the more thorough ones. And I was asked by one of the people, they went, okay, so how did you find the website? And I replied, I opened the link in the email. And there was this big confused silence as the people looked at each other as if to go, what planet is he on? He opened the email. What? Of course, the question was, how did I find the website? I opened the email and I clicked the link. What they were actually asking, of course, was, did I find the website of use? Did I find it was of any kind of benefit? And after about 25 seconds of silence, I twigged that that's what they were getting at. So I know from experience how easy it is to take that kind of thing to its literal level without realizing it.
それで桐生さんは箱を開けられなかったの。
That's why she wasn't able to open it.
人間と違ってコンピューターは与えられた命令を忠実に実行しすぎるのね。
Computers aren't like humans. They're only capable of doing exactly what they're told.
だから命令の設定は慎重にやらなきゃいけないの。
So you need to be extremely careful with how you order them.
Maho put the box back on the table. I couldn't see the letters from where I was.
もう一回だけやってみましょうか。
Shall we try it again?
岡部さん、今のを踏まえて適切な命令を考えてみて。
Okabe, try to come up with some appropriate orders based off of what you've just learned.
なるほど。
I see.
つまりさっきは真っ白なと余計な言葉を付け足してしまったからダメだったんだよな。
In other words, the problem was that I said pure white when I shouldn't have, right?
そういうこと。
That's right.
だったらもっとシンプルにいこ
So as to try making it
う。
simpler,
テーブルの上の箱を開けて中身を取り出してくれ。
open the box on the table and take out the
桐
contents.
生さん、今の岡部さんの命令に従ってみて。言葉の通りに忠実によ。
Kiryu, do what Okabe ordered you to. Exactly what he said. Nothing more, nothing less.
Moeka turned her gaze once again from me to the box on the table.
できない。
I can't do it. So, if we go to the log, this is where the backlog is useful. So, open the box on the table and take out the contents. So, open the box on the table and take out the contents. Now, what did Maho say earlier? You did not specify which table and which box. So the real answer to this is something like, open the box on the table directly beneath you and take out the contents. Or something to that level of extremity.
今度は何が問題なんだ？
Now what's the problem? Moeka's brow wrinkled a little as she pointed at the box on the
こ
table.
れ
This
箱じゃないから。
this isn't a box.
Interesting, that's not what I expected. I was expecting it to be exactly where it was in the room. So what else is it? Well, we know it's been described as a box with a lid. So is it one of those that's got like a secret pull-away hatch or something else? I'm interested in this. It's actually quite a good experiment.
Huh?
Yeah, you can hear Okabe's complete confusion. I was like, you what? What do you mean it's not a box? What are you talking about? Maho burst out laughing, as if she couldn't contain herself any longer. Her smile seemed much more childlike than ever.
桐生さん、あなたは素晴らしい被験体だわ。こんなにうまくいくとは思わなかった。
Kiryu, you're a wonderful test subject. I didn't think it would go this well.
I had no idea what was going on.
どういうことなんだ？
What do you mean? Maho turned the box around and explained the trick to me.
これは箱ではない。
This is not a box. Yeah. So because she's wrote on the box, this is not a box. Again, the command is there, it's not a box, so you can't open it.
また書き足したのか？
You wrote something on
こ
it.
の言葉が書いてあったから 桐生さんはこれが箱であると断定できなかった。だから開けられなかった。そうよね。
These words meant that Kiryu couldn't tell for sure if it was a box or not, so she couldn't open it, right?
そう。
That's right.
いやいや
No, no, no.
表面に何が書いてあっても箱は箱だろう。
It doesn't matter what it says. A box is a box, right?
人工知能にはそれはわからないわ。箱というのがどういうものなのかを丁寧に教えてあげないといけないの。
An AI doesn't know that. You need to tell it exactly what a box is.
今回は気流ロボが箱とは何かを大まかには知っているという前提だったけど、
For this experiment, we assumed that Robo Kiryu had a basic idea of what a box was.
I actually like that name for her, Robo Kiryu. I actually really like that.
この通り、ちょっと情報が揺れるだけで人工知能は期待した動作をしなくなるわけ。
But as you've just seen, adjust the information they receive even a little, and an AI won't do what you want it to.
それに今はテーブルの上の箱はこれ1個しかないけど、もし箱そっくりの四角い石があったらそれと箱とを区別する命令も必要よね。
Also, there's only this one box on the table, but if there were a square stone that looked like a box, you'd need an order to differentiate the two.
箱の上に石が乗っていたらまずその石をどかす命令をしないと中身を取り出すことはできないわ。
If the stone was on top of the box, you'd first need to give it an order to move it, too.
こんな風にあらゆる可能性を1個ずつ排除する必要があるの。
So you need to remove each possibility, one by one.
そんなのキリがないな。
You'd never be done, huh?
そうよ。キリがない。
Yep, never.
どんな条件が判断に影響するかわからないから思いつくものは全部命令に含めなきゃいけないのよ。
You don't know what conditions can affect the AI's judgment, so you need to include every possibility you can think of.
Which is why I always find it funny when I'm playing JRPGs and I either null, drain or repel an element and an enemy always uses on it because it never learns that it blocks it, so you need to change your moves. But it's funnier when you see a streamer who doesn't realise that. Not naming any names.
桐生さん、今日の朝食は何を食べたかしら？
Kiryu, what did you have for breakfast today?
For breakfast today? What was this about?
A jam bun.
That would be a... what are they called? It's one of the steam buns. It's not Nikuman, because that's meat bun. Oh, God, what are they called? Usually like a soybean paste. Can't remember what the name of it is. I know exactly what she's talking about. One of them for breakfast, not enough. Nowhere near it.
あんまん以外に朝食の選択肢はあった？
Did you have any choices besides jam bones for breakfast?
肉まん。
There we are, Nikuman, it's just said it. It probably said the word, but I didn't hear it.
A meat bun.
もし肉まんを選んでいたら桐生さんの行動は変わっていたかもしれないわよね。それも考慮に入れないと。
If you'd chosen the meat bun, your actions might have changed. You need to take that into account too.
あとはそうね、天気はどうかしら。今日は晴れているけど、もし雨だったらそれも考慮に入れないと。
Also, there's the weather as well. It's clear out today, but if it was raining, you might have to take that into account.
それにこの部屋の温度と湿度、テーブルの色も重要よね。もちろん材質と床からの高さも測らなきゃ。
There's also the temperature and humidity of the room. The color of the table's important as well. Also, you need to measure its height from the floor and know what type of material it's made out of.
そこのカーテンは開いているけど、これが閉まっていたら？
That curtain's open, but what if it was closed?
あるいは半開きだった場合、75% 以上開いている場合を個別に検討しないと。
You'd also have to test the cases where it was half open and 75% open individually as well.
カーテンの汚れ具合も関係するかもしれない。
The cleanliness of the curtain might play a factor too.
So basically what Maho's doing here is shitting all over the idea of AI to make people go, fuck this, I'm not doing it. That's what she's pretty much doing. Her superiors are going to be furious.
前にクリーニングに出したのはいつかしら。その時の料金や店員の態度だってパラメーターとして考慮する必要がある。
When's the last time it was cleaned? You also need to consider how much you paid and the cleaner's attitude as parameters.
それに
And
ストップストップ
Stop. I had to stop her before she went any further.
いくらなんでも朝食や天気はテーブルの上の箱を取るかどうかに影響しないだろう。
There's no way this morning's breakfast could influence whether or not she picks a box above her table.
カーテンが汚れてるかどうかなんてもっと無関係だ。
Let alone how clean the curtain is.
だからその辺はあらかじめ条件から除外してもいいはずじゃないか。
So couldn't you just take them off the list? Maho's eyes began to shine.
そうそれよ。
that's it! That's exactly right!
Huh?
岡部さんの言う通りよ。
You're exactly right, Okabe.
確かに朝食や天気は箱を開けるのに何の関係もないわ。
Breakfast and the weather have nothing to do with opening a box.
だったら
Then,
でもどうして岡部さんはそれがわかるの？
But how did you know that?
huh?
いやそんなの普通に考えれば。
Well, I mean, normally. And then finally, I understood the point of this experiment. Maho nodded,
そう
satisfied.
よ。人工知能にはその普通というのがわからないのよ。
That's right. An AI doesn't know what normal is.
なるほど。
I see.
これがフレーム問題よ。
That's the frame problem.
ある一つの命令を実行するのに人工知能は付随する無数の条件を加味しなきゃいけないの。
An AI needs to consider an endless number of attached conditions to know how to execute an order.
その条件のうちほとんどは本来無視できるはずなのだけど人工知能にはどれを無視していいのかがわからない。
The vast majority of those conditions can probably be ignored, but the AI doesn't know which to ignore,
そうなるとあらゆる事象を考慮しなければいけなくなる。
which means it has to consider everything.
でもあらゆる事象ってつまり無限ということよね。
But everything is an infinite set, isn't it?
無限に存在する条件を全て確認していたら永久に箱を拾い上げることはできない。
If it has to examine an infinite number of conditions, it will never be able to pick up that box.
箱を開けるという行為に朝食のメニューやテーブルの色が関係ないことは人間なら考えるまでもなくわかるわ。
A human knows what without having to think that table's color have nothing to do with opening a box.
Good evening, Queen. What have you missed? You've missed the really rather interesting analysis of AI that's been going on with Maho and Okabe, with Morika as the third wheel. You also missed a slightly minor personal story which talks about how being able to take orders in different ways is something that I've had experience of firsthand. So it's on the archive, you want to check it out. Anyway, good evening, how are you doing?
でも人工知能にはそれができない。
But an AI doesn't.
問題を解決するために検討する範囲をどこまでに設定するか、その枠を人間なら簡単に作れるけど人工知能にはできないの。
A human can easily frame which conditions need to be accounted for, but an AI can't.
枠、つまりフレームね。だからフレーム問題っていうの。
So, that's the frame problem.
なるほど。面白いな。
I see. Interesting.
でしょ？
Isn't it?
でもどうして人間はその枠を決められるんだ？
But why are humans able to create a frame? You're tired and looking forward to your day off tomorrow. I do not blame you, Queen, and I'm jealous because I have work tomorrow, including a conference call. Avian, yes. So if you receive an order and you don't like it, you'll either see passive-aggressive resistance or malicious compliance. I love malicious compliance. I absolutely adore it. There's nothing funnier than being maliciously compliant. Someone once did it where I heard a story where a kid got put into like a isolation room and was told by the teacher under no circumstances leave this room. A fire broke out and the kid ignored the fire bell. Teacher had to come running in and drag them out. So while that kid did malicious compliance, don't do that, people. Don't put yourself at risk for it. Proving a point is not worth your life. And that's very true, Queen. I do have the weekend off, so I can't be too jealous.
それがさっぱりわからないの。人工知能研究60年に及ぶ謎の一つよ。
We have no idea. It's one of the mysteries of the AI field for 60 years.
アマデウスはフレーム問題を解明する研究でもあるの。
One of the goals of the Amadeus project is solving the frame problem.
クリスを見ていると、一見フレーム問題を解決しているように見える。
When you look at Kurisu, it may feel like she's solved it.
でも、どうして彼女がそれを解決できているのかがわからない。
But we don't know how.
I'll say, Queen, assuming the story is not bullshit, and let's assume with a heavy pinch of salt here, from what I understand, the teacher was incredibly apologetic and made it very clear about when someone's in the isolation room. As I say, I don't believe that story's true. I really don't. It's one of the many stories you see that crop up on videos and you just hear it and go, horrible smell in the room here.
それどころか、クリス自身にも分かっていないのよ。
In fact, neither does she.
分かってないって。アマデウスは君が作ったんだろ？
You don't know? Didn't you make Amadeus?
仮説だったらいくらでもあるわよ。でも、数学的には証明できていない。
I can give you a dozen hypotheses if you want, but we've got no mathematical proof.
第一、私が作ったのは人間の脳が蓄えた記憶をデータとして抽出して脳と同じように駆動する人工知能メカニズムよ。
And anyway, what I made was the mechanism for extracting and digitizing human memories, and then an AI that executed them like a human brain.
トータルでは脳の挙動をシミュレートしているけど、その全てを理解しているわけではないわ。
It's a total simulation of the brain, but that doesn't mean we know how everything works.
地球と同じだけの質量を持った物体を作れば 1G の重力を発生させられる。
We know that if you create an object with the same mass as the Earth, it will have gravity equal to 1G.
だけど重力の発生メカニズムを解明したことにはならない。
But that doesn't mean we know how gravity works.
そういえば分かりやすいかしら。
Is that easier to understand?
全く分かりやすくはないが、言いたいことは分かった。
Not a lot easier, but I see what you're getting at.
人間のように動く人工知能はできた。けれど、それがなぜ人間のように動くのかはまだ分かってないわけだ。
You've created an AI that works like a human, but how it works like a human, you don't know.
そういうこと。
That's right.
でもこれだって人工知能研究においては画期的な発展なのよ。
But that's still a huge advance in AI
神
research.
経細胞の挙動をシミュレートする研究は以前から行われていたの。
Research to simulate the functions of a neuron have been going on for a long time.
だけど効率的に機能するデータを作る方法が見つからなかった。
But we never found a way to create data that could function effectively.
人間が何十年もかけて見聞きして整理分類して脳の中に構築したとんでもなく複雑回帰なデータ。
That data is a complicated, intertwined web of everything that humans need, categorized and stored in their brains over decades.
つまり記憶か？
In other words, memories.
そう。この記憶というデータの構造が長らく謎のままだった。
Exactly. The structure of memories has been a mystery for a long time.
けれどクリスの研究のおかげでひとまず記憶を丸ごとデジタル変換して取り出すことに成功した。
But thanks to Carisu's research, we were able to extract an entire set of memories and digitize them.
未だにそのデータ構造自体は未知だけど、それをデータとして使うことはできるようになったわけ。
We still don't know how the data itself is stored, but we know how to use it now.
それが アマデウス。
And that's Amadeus.
ええ、そういうこと。
Yes, that's right.
人工知能研究ではこういう事象は多いのよ。
This happens a lot in AI research.
でもいずれは必ず突き止めてみせる。人類が持つ知能の正体をね。
But someday, I'm going to find out what human intelligence really is.
その時私はようやくクリスを。
And then, Karisu, I'll finally...
Maho suddenly fell silent in the middle of her sentence.
どうした？
What's wrong?
なんでもないわ。
Nothing.
他に聞きたいことはないかしら。フレーム問題に関係なくてもいいわよ。
Is there anything else you want to know? It doesn't have to be about the frame problem.
There was a lot I wanted to ask, but I felt like we had enough, more than enough, for Moeka's article. I looked at Moeka, who hesitated a second before speaking.
何かしら、桐生さん。
What is it, Kiryu?
人工知能が人間の能力を上回るものになることはあるの？
Is it possible for artificial intelligence to surpass human capabilities?
面白い質問だわ。
That's an interesting question.
現時点でもアマデウスは学力という意味でならここにいる私たちをすでに超えているでしょうね。
In terms of knowledge, Amadeus probably surpasses anyone in this room.
クリスの記憶を有しているわけだから。
She has Karisu's memories after all.
There was no matching the knowledge of a genius. I'd gone up against Karisu any number of times and learned that the hard way.
でもそれはあくまで私たちと比べた場合。
But that's just comparing her to us.
クリスのベースはクリス本人。つまり人間の記憶よ。
The memories for Karisu come from Karisu herself. In other words, they're human memories.
これが人間の能力を上回っているとみなすかは検討が必要でしょうね。
We probably need to think about whether this can truly be considered surpassing a human's capabilities.
ただし人間の能力を上回る人工知能ができるまではあとちょっとだと思うわ。
But it won't be long before we've got an AI that does more than a human can, I think.
もともと研究者の間では2050年くらいには人工知能が人間を超える時代が来ると言われているの。
Scientists have been saying for a while that by 2050, AIs will surpass humanity.
And on that day, Skynet will launch a nuclear attack on the world.
いわゆるシンギュラリティポイントね。
They call it the singularity point, you see?
Oh, we've had that conversation come up quite a few times, haven't we? Let's look at the tip. A theory proposed by mathematician Werner Vignay and inventor Ray Kurzweil. The phrase refers to a point in time where an AI is created whose intelligence exceeds our own. In Japanese, it's referred to as the technological singularity. The theory states that when this singularity point is reached, all further development will be done by AIs, without any human intervention, and a non-human-centric civilization will begin to develop. This will mark a major paradigm shift in human history. Kurzweil said that the singularity will occur sometime around 2045, and many other AI researchers, while they disagree on the exact date, say that it's going to happen as well. Opinions are divided as to what role humanity will play after this.
There will be none, they will be exterminated.
Or something like that, I don't know.
アマデウスの登場によってその日は想定よりももっとずっと早く到来するはずよ。
Amadeus' arrival could bring that date much, much closer than we anticipated.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome.
機械が人間を上回るか。映画みたいな話だな。ありえるのか？
A machine that's better than a human, huh? It seems like something out of a movie. Is that possible?
あら、工学系の大学生とは思えない発言ね。
Huh? It's hard to believe I'm hearing that from an engineering student.
岡部さんは飛行機のように空を飛べないでしょ？新幹線より早く移動できないし、安物の電卓より計算が早いわけでもない。
You can't fly like an airplane, can you? And you can't run faster than a bullet train, or do math as fast as a cheap calculator.
Ah, so according to Sword Art Online, it'll start around 2026. Well, We're only 4 years away, people. Just 4 years away.
今この時点でも機械の能力はすでに人間を大きく上回っているのよ。
Even right now, the abilities of a machine far exceed those of a human.
Yeah, but those machines are made by a human. Planes are built by humans. Computers are built by humans. Calculators are built by humans. The point Okabe is making is they're not at the point where they can make themselves. Not yet. That's the key words there. Not yet.
脳だけが例外だなんて誰にも言えない。
Nobody can say that the brain will be the only exception.
この世界に科学で説明できない奇跡のメカニズムなんて存在しないのよ。
There is no miraculous mechanism in this world that science can't explain.
すべては物理現象なのだから、原理を解明すれば必ず人工的に作れるわ。
It's all physical phenomena, you see. Once you know the underlying principles, you can recreate it artificially.
未解明の問題をすべて解決して真の人工知能を作る。それが私の仕事よ。
My job is to solve the riddles that we don't have answers for and make a true AI.
インタビューとしてはこんな感じでどうかしら、桐生さん。
How does that work for an interview, Kiryu?
But Moeka just stared at her memo pad and didn't look up.
桐生さん？
Kiryu?
これで十分。きっと面白い記事になる。
Yes, this is plenty. I'm sure it will be an interesting article.
岡部君もありがとう。
Thank you too, Okabe.
ああ、俺も興味深く聞かせてもらったよ。
Yeah, it was really interesting. I wanted to talk a little more, but both Maho and Moeka seemed to have work to do, so I decided to leave.
すべては物理現象か。
It's all physical phenomena, huh? Maho thought exactly the way that most AI researchers did, that there were no black boxes in the human brain. But I knew the truth. There were things inside the brain that science couldn't explain.
リーディングしたいなって何なんだろうな。
Just what the hell is reading Steiner, anyway? Was it ever going to be scientifically explained? Oh, and now we're in control of Maho. Do a quick save while I can. In Twin Automata.
危ない危ない。
Oh, oops.
Maho quickly choked back her yawn and looked around to see if anyone saw her. There were other people doing the same thing she was, leaning up against the railing of the bridge and killing time. Of course, they were all too focused on themselves to pay her any mind. Welcome to my world on the commute to the office, people. Welcome to my world. She planned on spending the day at Faris's house, taking care of the paperwork left over from the office's temporary closure. But this morning she got on a call from Dr. Leskinen that had sent her hurrying to Tokyo Denki University. Tokyo Denki had, it seemed, offered them a temporary room at the school while their office was closed. Dr. Leskinen had called Dr. Izaki at Tokyo Denki, who had given it to them without a second thought. So now she had decided to pay the new office a visit and discuss what they planned to do with her for the future. The Kanda campus for Tokyo Denki University wasn't that far away from Akihabara, it seemed.
しかしまあいい天気ね。
Sure is a nice day out, though.
The sky that poked out between the buildings had the clear colour that was unique to winter. She spent the whole of yesterday cooped up inside her room, so the cold air felt good. She crossed her arms and reached upwards.
Eh,
しかし遅いわね。
She sure is late, though.
The reason she was standing here was that she was waiting for Moeka. Oh yes, Queen. That's another thing you missed. Faris's cringy Nyan puns, which went to a level even lower than before. As much as I like Faris Nyan, some of her kiddie puns need to stop.
あ、来た。
Ow, there she is.
Sorry, almost there.
No hurry, take your time. And the moment I rant about her, she comes back. She knows. She's like got her claws ready to scratch me anytime I diss them. Thank you, me.
わざわざいいのに。
She didn't have to come all this way. Maho didn't know the way to Tokyo Denki, so Moeka had kindly offered to take her there. And she'd asked for something in exchange.
ヒヤジョ博士の写真を撮らせてほしい。
I want to take a picture of you, Dr. Hyajo.
記事に載せたいから。
I want to put it in the article.
Yeah, of course you do. Maho really didn't like having her picture taken. But if Moeka was nice enough to interview her, she wanted to do everything she could to help. No, Moeka didn't interview you. I did. Her and Kiyoma. I was the one that asked the questions. Moeka had gone back to her home to get her camera. She said it was close enough to walk, so Maho had decided to just wait.
あの人、LINE だとテンション高いわよね。
She's always so excited online though. She closed the phone and looked up. And then she saw Moeka directly under the bridge, running towards her. Hang on, she looked up and saw Moeka running under the bridge.
待たせてごめんなさい。
How does that work?
ヒヤジョ博士。
Sorry to keep you waiting, Dr. Hyajo.
そんなに急がなくてもよかったのに。
You didn't need to hurry so much.
少し休んでいく？
You want to take a break?
平気です。
No, I'm fine.
Moeka went around in front of Maho and started to walk ahead. Oh, now they're on the train. Okay. You don't need to get the train between Akihabara and Kanda, by the way. It's literally one straight. The year had just started, and the subway was empty. Maho decided to take a closer look at Moeka, who was standing next to her and grabbing onto one of the handles. Moeka realised she was being watched and tilted her head. Then she took out her phone and started to type. Eh? Maho's phone suddenly rang at the bottom of her bag. She just received the line message.
What's up?
I see, so we can talk on the train like this. It feels strange talking to you online when we're right next to each other. You didn't look like you were doing well, so it must have just been my imagination. Moeka's expression didn't change much, but Maho thought that didn't mean she had no feelings. Even the cold air doesn't feel good when it's cold, but as you pointed out, Queen, when you're roasting after a day in the office, it can be a wonderful, lovely experience. When she looked into Moeka's thin, pretty eyes, she could see she was an interested observer of many things. Maybe that's what you'd expect from a writer.
Sorry to worry you. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Sorry. I'll make sure you get to dig you, Dr. Hyajo.
It's weird being called Dr. Hyajo.
Blah. It's weird.
Yep. You don't have to call me doctor both in the real world and online. Let's be a little more informal.
Sorry. But then what do I call you?
Just call me by my name. That's what you do for Okabe, right? Jealous.
That's because he's a student and much younger than me.
Oh! So Moeka has that kind of a relationship, does she? No. Not on my stream, buddy. Not on my stream.
You can treat me the same way. Ugh. We'll be roommates for a while, and we're both about the same age. So how about we call each other Momika and Maho? You would never tell by looking at them, but Maho and Momika were only a year apart. And Maho was 21, and Momika 20, which meant that she was the older of the two. Maho couldn't help but wonder what kind of deal you had to make with God to get that height and those... I'm not reading the rest of that out! No way. I've never called anyone by the first name. I'd be too nervous. Then how about Kiryu and Hyajo? Please be one of the few friends I made in Japan. Got it. Will do. Okay. Then try saying it now. Momika suddenly jerked upright and opened her eyes wide. Here? Now? Oh, by the way, these two be getting bollocks right now, by the way. Using your phone on the train in Japan. Major no-no. Oh, yeah, I get that's what it's getting at, Queen, but it still sounded creepy. I know it's meant to be the whole senpai kuhai thing, but it's just, yeah, just something about it made me think, oh, no. I remember that scene, people. Let's leave it there. Yeah. Maho nodded at Momika's whispered question. If we're doing it, I want to start now. But... Like I just said, I'm really not good at talking to people. Oh my god. Just... that icon. Right there, people. He's begging for the mistakes he's made. Ah, that's an interesting strategy, Evian. You turn your phone off the Wi-Fi when you travel so you can read in peace. Just ignore your phone. That's the easiest way. And Dragon, I say, even if you're using it for texting, in Japan, it's very rude to use your phone. I think you can get away with using it like that. The big no-no is talking on your phone. That's a serious one. But I have seen different things depending on where you are. Certain parts of Japan you get away with it. I think in the major places in Tokyo you might be okay, but if you're in outlying prefectures like Odawara, for example, you might be a bit more clamped down on. And you say it's the press mode, Queen. It looks like he's grovelling to me. Really? I thought you were just nervous because Okabe was with us last night. Like you're the kind of person who gets nervous around the opposite sex. It's true that when I talk to men I get even more nervous. In other words, when it's just girls, it's not so bad that you can't talk? Well, maybe. Then since we're both girls, let's get along! I know, how about this? When it's just the two of us, how about we try to talk in person instead of lying as much as we can? I'd be less bored with someone to talk to. If you're going to be a writer for a magazine, I think it'd be a good chance to practice, don't you? Mayuri's thinking pose. Okay, I'll do my best. Momika seemed to steel herself, and then turned towards Maho. Hyajo.
よろしくお願いします。
Thank you for your help with this.
よろしくね、キリュウさん。
Yeah, you too, Kiryu. The train arrived at their station. The area around Tokyo Denki was quiet, and it looks like it's raining. Because it is. Momika told her that the surrounding areas were offices and government buildings, which meant at this time of year there was almost no one around. She felt bad,
but decided to have Morika wait outside. Oh, in the rain! Yes, it might be raining, but stay outside. Don't move. Because you're Robo Kiryu, and you'll do exactly what I tell you. The school was still on break, so she could have waited in one of the rooms on campus, but Morika had refused. Maybe it wasn't to do with a command then. How very strange.
じゃあ終わったら連絡するわ。
Okay, I'll call you when I get out.
She split up with Morika. Maho got very lost on her way to Izuki's lab. The school was completely empty because of the break, so she couldn't ask anyone. My experience of university and colleges, they're not. When the students go home for the end of terms, for those 3 weeks they're usually absolutely battered with conferences of all kinds. In the end, she had to call Dr. Leskinen and get detailed instructions. A letter was taped to the door marked Dr. Izuki's lab. The letter had a photo of a smiling Dr. Leskinen, along with some low-resolution text that looked like it was directly printed from a PC screen.
世界脳科学総合研究機構日本オフィス準備室
Yeah, so you got world at the front with the 2 kanji for Sakai and then the rest of it. Kind of think I should look at to study Japanese, that. It's actually quite a good way of practicing sentence structure.
For immediate release, Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, Japanese Office Prep Room.
の設立者アレクシス・レスキネンからのお願いをお読みください。
The founder of this establishment, Alexis Leskinen, has a request.
これをご覧の皆様全員から1ドルずついただければすぐにでもおでん缶が食べられます。
If everyone who saw this donated just $1, I could eat a can of Oden right now.
And of course, there's the joke. Because Oden costs $1. In other words, Leskinen saying to Maho, get me Oden.
相変わらずこういうのが好きね、教授は。
He loves this stuff so much.
No matter how formal the setting, when the professor wanted to tell a joke, he'd do it. He really was just like a child. But his carefree personality let Maho and Karisu relax and enjoy their work. Suddenly remembering Karisu made her heart ache a little. She suddenly realised that her sudden change of address, coupled with living with a person she barely even met, was taking its toll on her. Today, she'd finally get the chance to talk to her again. Or more accurately, the memories she'd left behind.
教授レスキネン教授
Professor, Dr. Leskinen?
When she stepped inside the lab and called the professor's name, the giants in the back came running to greet her.
やあ魔法よく来てくれたね。パワーアップした準備室へようこそ。
Hey Maho, thanks for coming. Welcome to our powered up prep room.
はあ
Huh?
つまりこのテーブルとソファー2つがパワーアップした準備室なんですね。
So this table and 2 sofas are our powered up prep room, huh?
Yes、シンプルであることこそが真理へ近づく秘訣であるというだろう。
Yes, they say simplicity is the secret to the truth. Do they not?
誰の言葉ですか
Who says that?
私さ。
I do. Well, he's not got any less lame, has he, people? The professor clapped his hands and laughed. Maho ignored him and went to sit on the sofa. He didn't seem hurt.
さてと、それで今後のことについてだが。
Now then, about our future plans.
ああすみませんアマデウスを立ち上げるのでちょっと待ってください
Oh, sorry. I want to boot up Amadeus. Just give me a second.
She took out her laptop and put it on the table. Her OS, a Linux variant customized for research purposes, booted up and displayed the login screen. Maho typed in her account name the same way she'd done 1,000 times before. Go on then, what does it say about Linux? Apart from it being a failed attempt at making the PS3 different to the main consoles. Yep, Linux. OS. Operating system, the software of a computer that controls... Oh! That's interesting. It's not showing the... oh, there it is. It glitched. It wasn't showing the Linux text. I thought it had been blocked for copyright or something. So, an OS developed in 1991 to be compatible with the general Unix OS. At the time, Unix was extremely expensive and not easily available, so Linus Torvalds, then a university student, developed Linux as an alternative. The code is open source, and programmers from all around the world contributed to its development until it reached a point where it could be used for commercial purposes. Many modern web servers use Linux. I remember an old joke where someone said they bought a computer and it said insert Windows software to continue, and they said insert Linux. No, you don't. Salieri. For just a moment, she stared at the letters in her account name. She quickly put in the password and called up the desktop. And yes, yes, Queen, Linux tried to break the stream. It knew I was using a different operating system and wanted to shut me down. And before long, Karisu appeared on the screen. It's been a long time, Maho.
久しぶりって、一昨日も話したじゃない。
A long time? We just talked 2 days ago.
あれは緊急事態でしたから、話したうちに入りませんよ。
That was an emergency. It didn't count.
それでなくても最近あまり話せなかったし。
And even besides that, we haven't got to talk much lately.
仕方ないわよ。テスト中なんだから。
It's not my fault. We were testing.
During Okabe and Kreese's communication test, Maho and Dr. Leskinen had avoided talking to Amadeus to keep from adding noise to the experiment.
岡部さんも最近はあまり話してくれませんけどね。
Not that Okabe's talked to me lately, though.
もしかして先輩と岡部さん、私に内緒でよく会ってるんじゃないですか？
Are you two maybe meeting without telling me?
一昨日も一緒にいましたし。
You were together 2 days ago, after all.
Oh, she's such a shipper, isn't she?
そんなんじゃないって言ってるでしょ？
What? I told you, it's not like that!
なんであなたはどんな時でも頭の中に色恋妄想が渦巻いてるのよ。
Where do you get these delusions that everything in the world is about romance?
妄想じゃありません。冷静な観察と分析に基づいた角度の高い推論です。
It's not a delusion. It's a highly accurate hypothesis, based off of calm, dispassionate observation and analysis.
She's sounding more and more like me, and that's worrying me. A lot.
それならそっちを先行にすればよかったじゃない。あなたの的外れな分析じゃ、博士号どころか大学卒業も危うかったでしょうけど。
If you like that stuff so much, maybe you should have majored in it. Though given how totally wrong you are, you probably wouldn't have graduated, let alone get your doctorate.
Oh damn, Maho's bringing the fire now. Yeah, you should have studied it and then failed. And then I definitely would have surpassed you, so or something. Dr. Leskinen brought his hands together in an exaggerated motion.
この雰囲気、懐かしいね。
It feels like it's been so long since I've seen this.
昔はキャンパスのどこにいても君たちを探すのに苦労しなかったよ。
It used to be I could always find you wherever you were on campus.
いつでも二人の話し声が聞こえていたからね。
Because I could always hear you yelling at each other.
もう教授、冗談はやめてください。
Come on, Professor, stop joking around.
それほど仲がいいということさ。君たちはまるで姉妹のようだ。
It just means you're very close. You two are like sisters.
さあ、それじゃあ今後のことについてのミーティングを始めよう。
Now, let's get this meeting started. We need to talk about our future plans.
時間を最も効率よく使った人間が勝利する。 これも私の言葉だよ。
The person who uses their time most efficiently wins. That's another of my great quotes.
何かミュージックが欲しいな。クリス、お願いできるかい？
I want some music. Kurisu, can you play me something? If you start playing Claire de Lune, I'm going to be having words with Kadaka.
はい。
Sure.
Nope, I didn't think it would be. A soft piano melody began to play from the laptop's speakers.
これは
This.
It's obviously a Mozart one.
覚えてますか？
Maho, do you remember?
私と先輩のきっかけの曲ですよ。
It's the song that brought us together.
She'd never forget. It was what had brought them together a year ago. And it was the symbol of their relationship. A year ago, September 2009, Carissa had officially joined the Brain Science Institute. She completed the graduate school's doctorate program in May of that year, and had only turned 17 in July. Maho herself had joined the Brain Science Institute at an extremely young age, but her record had been beaten by quite a lot. Jenny asking if that was Carlisle Cullen. I'd be very surprised if it was. I'm guessing we're going to find out is the answer to that one. How are you doing anyway? Carissa was a genius. Everyone who met her could tell. Dr. Leskinen had been Carissa's advisor during the program, so Maho had met her several times, and that was enough to tell her that Carissa was different. She never showed off her own talents. Actually, she didn't seem to think of herself as particularly intelligent at all. But that actually made it a little hard for the people around her to approach her. Whenever you talked to Carissa, you were forced to realise that there was a gap between you and her that could never be erased. She'd learned later from Dr. Leskinen that things had been the same in grad school. It was rumoured that was the real reason she'd come to America from Japan at the age of 11. No matter what she wanted, no matter where she lived, she was cut off from the people around her. And awesome, glad to hear you getting back into the swing of things with work and cons and all. That's great, Jenny, really awesome to hear. I have to say, I'm still wary at the moment, given the rates we've got at the moment, but fingers crossed we might start cresting the hill. But yes, I'm being cautiously optimistic. That's what it meant to be a genius like her. Since Maho was a girl too, and close to her in age, she actually considered Carissa more of a rival. Since they were working in the same field, they were going to be compared, and she didn't want to lose. Maybe that was why Maho had never thought of going to talk to her. And Carissa was so busy learning how to work at the lab, she'd never come to talk with Maho. But then, 2 weeks after Carissa came to the lab, a certain classical song had changed their relationship forever.
再セット
And play.
There were two types of people in the world. Those who have a PS5 and those who don't. Too soon? There were two types of people in the world. Those who work better with music, and those who work better with silence. From a brain science perspective, the idea that you could concentrate better with music was sheer nonsense. Whether you were aware of it or not, the sound was vibrating your eardrums, and your brain was continually analysing it. But if there was ever a public debate on the subject, Maho would want to take the first position. Theory and feelings were different. You could concentrate best with music in the background, and you could be more creative. But there was one condition.
流していて集中できる音楽はモーツァルトが作曲したものに限る。
The song has to have been composed by Mozart.
Maho whispered to herself as she turned toward the computer. Ooh, the salt hurts, does it, Queen? Drink it in. Drink it in deep. She'd been running a patch on some equations for 2 full days, and it had finally completed. Today, she was going to spend the whole day analysing the output. It was Saturday, so she was the only person in the lab. This was the one day she had this whole huge space to herself. So she decided to play Mozart's 11th Sonata from the speakers, not her headphones. She didn't intend to pay any attention to the music. This was more like a ritual she needed in order to concentrate. It was a warm-up exercise before she could dive into a sea of numbers and equations. Once she dove in, she wouldn't need it anymore, so she simply stopped hearing it. She stopped seeing everything around her too. All she saw was the numbers and equations. All that was in her head were numbers and equations. All that was left was a thinking machine named Hyajo Maho. Her mind left behind the bonds of her physical body, and the speed of her thoughts accelerated towards the infinite. It was time for another fun journey.
おはようございます。
Good morning.
Yeah! Someone suddenly whispered in her ear, and Maho jumped out of a chair, lost her balance, and fell flat on her ass. She's fallen flat on her fucking ass! She looked up and saw Karisu staring down at her, beginning to panic.
すみません。そんなに驚かれるとは思わなくて。
I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd be so surprised.
クリス、
Karisu!
驚かせないでよ。
Don't scare me like that!
何度か呼んだんですけど、聞こえなかったみたいで。
I called your name a bunch of times, but you didn't seem to hear me. Ow.
Maho stood up and sat back in her chair.
ごめんなさい。集中してて聞こえなかったわ。
Sorry. I was focusing so much I didn't hear you.
はい、そうだと思ってました。
Yeah, I thought so.
Then you should have just left me alone. Maybe Carissa could tell she was thinking that, because she quickly added,
申し訳ないとは思ったんですが、せっかく休日に先輩とお会いしたわけだし、挨拶しておきたいなって。
I felt bad about it. But since I'd run into you on a weekend, I thought I should say something.
それに、まだ作業を始めたばかりのようでしたから、お邪魔にはならないかなって。
And you seemed like you just started, so I didn't think I'd be a bother.
今来たの？
Did you just get here?
はい、私だけかと思ったから驚きました。
Yeah. I thought I'd be the only one here. I'm surprised.
Then Maho realised something was strange.
あなた、今来たって言ったわよね。
You said you just got here, right?
だったら、なぜ私が作業を始めたばかりだと分かったの？
So how did you know I'd only just started working?
それは。
Oh, because...
Karisu pointed to the speakers.
まだ第一楽章の頭でしたから。
You're still at the start of the first movement.
ケッヘル331、モーツァルトピアノソナタ第11番イチョウチョ、第一楽章。
K331, Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in A major, first movement.
Let me guess, this is a specific part of a specific song. Here we go. So K331, Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in a major, the Turkish March. K331 refers to the song's Koschel number, which is a numbering system developed by Ludwig von Koschel for the purpose of indexing all of Mozart's works so that people worldwide could have a standard method of referring to them. Koschel numbers are given in order at the time of the song's creation, but as new works are discovered, or it's discovered that a song actually came out in a different year, they are sometimes updated. In the latest version of the Kershal system, the piano sonata number 11 in A major is K6.300I. However, the original numbers were popular for many years and are still commonly used today. Mainly because K331 is much easier to remember than K6.300I. That makes it sound like a really bad derivative of a car manufacturer. Get the latest Kia K6300i from your local dealer now for $11,995 O&O. Brief cameo from Mr. Tanaka there for all you Persona 3 fans.
あなた、モーツァルト好きなの？
You like Mozart?
かじった程度です。
I just know a little about him.
それにモーツァルト全般というよりはこの曲が好きなんです。
And it's really more that I just like this song.
世間的にはトルコ行進曲の方が有名ですけど、
The Turkish march is more popular, but
私はこの第一楽章の静かな調べの方が心地いいですね。
the melody in the first movement feels so much more pleasant, doesn't it?
私も同意見よ。
I agree.
よかった。
I'm so glad.
私も気合を入れて集中するときは BGM にモーツァルトを流してます。
Whenever I'm really trying to focus, I put Mozart on in the background.
科学者としての発言ではないですけどね。
That's not a very scientific thing to do, I know.
Maho couldn't help but laugh as she realised Karisu was saying the same thing she'd said earlier. In the 2 weeks since Karisu had joined the team, Maho hadn't quite been sure how to deal with her. But now she wanted to know a little more. So has used the signal her co-workers always use when they wanted to take breaks.
コーヒーでも飲む？
Wanna get some coffee?
賛成です。
Sounds great.
先輩にいくつか質問したいこともありますし。
There's a bunch of stuff I wanted to ask you.
As she watched Karisu follow her, filled with energy, far too much energy for a weekend morning I'm sure, she was reminded of the pet dog she used to have. I'm sure Makise Karisu is very happy about that one. But later she would realise that that was one of the things that made Karisu cute. She got 2 hot coffees from the lab coffee machine, and the two of them talked about their research for a while. It must have been a strange sight. 20-year-old Maho and 17-year-old Karisu debating the latest developments in cerebral physiology while drinking coffee out of paper cups. I'm liking the remix of the daytime theme from the original Steins Gate here, which is a bit more digitised. So cerebral physiology is the study of the cerebrum, which is the part of the brain that controls human and animal actions. In recent years, the field of AI has achieved many things with a technology called neural networks that mimics the structure of the human brain. Because of this, one popular approach has been the use of an information science-based approach towards cerebral physiology. As for the Turkish march, meanwhile, it's the third movement of Mozart's piano sonata number 11 in A major. The sonata is composed of 3 movements, but the third movement in particular is exceptionally famous and often performed on its own. A normal sonata consists of 4 movements: an allegro, a slow movement such as an andante or largo, a dance movement, and a faster finale. Since the piano sonata only has 3 movements, it violates the standard structure. But this can be considered another example of Mozart's genius. In other words, the origin of punk goes back to Mozart. And here was me thinking that Johnny Cash was the first punk. But the two of them realised that since they'd never had someone of the same sex and age to work with, these conversations were a big help to both of them. Having the older Maho around must have been a particularly big help to Karisu. Once in a while, Karisu would still call her senpai, the Japanese word for an upperclassman or more senior colleague.
そういえば、アインシュタインはバイオリンが趣味だったらしいですね。
You know, I once heard that Einstein liked to play the piano, the
モーツァル
violin.
トを尊敬していたようね。モーツァルトを好きになることは由緒正しき科学者の伝統なのかもしれない。
He seemed to have a lot of respect for Mozart. Maybe it's a tradition for scientists to like Mozart.
もしそうなら光栄ですね。
If that's true, And it's an honor.
After a short debate about their work, the two then talked about Mozart until they finished their coffee. And that's actually quite a nice scene, actually. It looks quite very informal. I'm liking the fact they've actually got cup of coffee on the glass. Well, not the glass, on the paper cup. Can't make out that one there, but the fact that someone's actually put cup of coffee on the coffee. In other words, don't you dare put tea in this cup. If you do, I will find you and I will poke your eye out with a spoon or something. After she had a real conversation with Kurisu, Maho realised that she was totally different than her first impression. Every time she spoke, she'd smile or pout. It was adorable to watch. But the only thing she had in common with most people her age was her appearance. She was a genius.
先輩はアインシュタインがあなたにとって死とは何かという質問にどう答えたか知ってます？
Do you know what Einstein said when someone asked him what death meant to him?
いいえ、なんて言ったの？
No, what did he say?
死とはモーツァルトを聴けなくなることだ。
Death means not getting to listen to Mozart anymore.
日本ではそれなりに有名な言葉なんですよ。
It's a fairly famous phrase in Japan.
Death means not getting to listen to Mozart anymore. And a lot of people in the world go, hooray! Me, I don't listen to classical music, so I can't judge. And to be fair, with the shit I listen to, I can't diss anyone's music. Though Takami Chika is still best. I will defend Takamine, always. It was a more romantic phrase than she'd expect from the Einstein she thought she knew.
へえ、知らなかった。アインシュタインがそんなことを言ったのね。
Heh, I had no idea. Einstein said that, huh?
いいえ、言ってません。
No, he didn't.
え？
Huh?
まあ、厳密には言っていないことは証明できませんけど、少なくとも記録は残っていないと思います。
Well, to be completely accurate, we can't prove he didn't say it, but at least there are no records of it.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
Creasy smiled and put her finger to her lips.
昔、日本で発売された本に別の本からの引用としてこの言葉が載っていたんです。
A book that was published in Japan a long time ago had that phrase as a quote from another biography.
けれど、その本には引用元の署名が書かれてなかったし、今に至るまで引用元の本は見つかっていません。
But the Japanese book didn't specify the biography they got it from, and no one has ever found it.
著者がでっち上げたってこと？呆れた話ね。
So the author made it up. Sheesh.
証明はできませんから、断定もできませんけどね。
We can't prove that, so we can't be totally sure.
でも、
But
この言葉、私はとてもアインシュタインらしいロジカルなものだなって思うんです。
I think these words are very much what a logical man like Einstein would say.
ロジカル？
Logical?
だって、死んだらモーツァルトは聴けなくなりますよね。
Yes, because once you're dead, you can't listen to Mozart, right?
そんなの当たり前じゃない。
Of course not.
はい、当たり前なんです。
Yes, of course not.
Except, of course, right now, in a way, Carissa is listening to Mozart. That's where the game is taking the knife and twisting it very slowly.
モーツァルトに限らず、死んだら何も聞くことはできなくなる。
Once you're dead, you can't listen to anything at all, not just Mozart.
命題は真です。
Thus, the statement is true.
ね？ロジカルでしょ？
See? Logical, right?
あなた面白いわね。知性と幼さが一つの脳の中に同居してる。
You're very interesting, you know that? Intelligence and childishness all wrapped up in the same brain.
幼くなんかないですよ。
I'm not childish.
ごめんなさい。
Sorry.
遅くなったけど、改めてよろしくね、クリス。
I know it's a bit late, but it's a pleasure to be working with you, Kurisu.
Maho offered her hand, and Kurisu shook it with a smile. Kurisu's hand was warm.
よろしくお願いします先輩
You too, Maho.
Mozart brought the two of them together. Kurisu was a child beloved by God. Everyone was amazed and astonished by her unmatched creativity. And what do you mean, mean? What are you on about, Dragon? What have I done now? How am I mean? Everyone, including, of course, Maho. Something. It felt like she had to remember something important.
おはようございます
Good morning.
Yeah! Someone suddenly whispered in her ear, and Maho jumped off the sofa.
Wait, what?
クリスの言う通りだったね。
Chris was right! At some point, Dr. Leskinen had picked up the laptop and taken it behind Maho's back. Chris was on the screen laughing at her. Evidently, the professor had brought it close to Maho's ears and made Chris whisper to her.
先輩今集中モードに入ってましたね
You were just in your concentration mode, weren't you?
教授が何度呼びかけても自分の世界から帰ってこなかったですから
No matter how many times the professor called your name, you wouldn't come out from your little world.
Ah, the salt, Dragon. Well, I mean... Come on. In terms of gaming, I suppose I'm technically in the 1% at the moment. It's rare I get to be smug about these things. Rare being the key word.
Ow,
すみません
sorry.
こんな非常事態でも研究する姿勢は大したものだよ。
I'm impressed you continue with research even while this emergency's going on. The professor put the laptop back on the table and sat in the sofa across from her. And then they started the meeting. She discussed their future plans with the professor. One of the options that came up was going back to America. Something kept bugging Maho the whole time during the meeting. When she was remembering how she'd met Kurisu, she was also remembering something else. Salieri. Maho's user account name. She'd picked it a month after Kurisu had died. For some reason, she couldn't stop thinking about it. After she finished her meeting with Dr. Leskinen and left the school, she realised it had started to rain. It was already raining! It was like that sky when you went into the building!
やっぱり降ってきちゃったか
Huh? So it did rain.
日本の天気予報は驚くほど正確ね
Japan's weather reports are surprisingly accurate.
桐生さんどこかお店に入っているのかしら
I wonder if Kiryu stopped in some shop somewhere.
Just as she went to take out her phone and send a message to her, she got a message of her own from Chris.
It was fun talking with Samayawa today. Tell me about Okabe next time. I had fun too. I've said this before, but it's not like that.
The laughing frog. She was about to snap and say something back when she saw Moeka in her field of vision. She'd opened her folding umbrella and was crouched by the side of the road with her phone out. When Maho approached, she saw a flower bloom between the asphalt and shrubbery. Moeka was trying to take a picture of it.
桐生さんごめんなさいお待たせしちゃったわね
Sorry, Kiryu, I'm done.
Moeka looked up and opened her mouth hesitantly.
ヒヤジョさん
Hyacho.
Maho was happy that she said her name.
花撮ってたの
You were taking pictures of the flowers? Yeah.
Moeka nodded and looked back toward the ground. There was a tiny flower blooming where the asphalt met the shrubbery. There was no other flower like it in view. The wind must have brought it here. The flower's colour was striking, but something, perhaps the rain, made it look sickly. Moeka took a picture of it. Then another and another. By the way, I really apologise, people. I had no idea it was going to do flashing lights, so I'm sorry if there's any of the facts. What I might do is quickly, I won't let me do it. The umbrella in her hand seemed to be stopping her from taking a good picture.
傘持ってましょうか?
Want me to hold your umbrella?
別に
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was making you thinking of a Yakuza with all the Kiryu calls. I know the meme. If anything else, I've seen a couple of clips, but I've not played Yakuza.
いいからいいから.
It's fine, it's fine.
Maho practically yanked the umbrella out of Moeka's hands.
ありがとう
Thank you.
どういたしまして.
You're welcome.
Moeka used both hands to steady her camera. Then when it came into focus, she pressed the button. No. Nothing I could do to stop that, people. A moment later, she stood up, satisfied.
うまく撮れたもう大丈夫
I got a good photo. I'm all set.
ポートレートの準備かしら?
Are you getting ready for my portrait?
Moeka shook her head.
ヒアジョーさんの写真は撮らない雨降ってきちゃったから
I can't take your picture. It's raining.
風景を撮るのは習慣
I always take pictures of landscapes.
写真を撮るのが好きなの?
You like taking photos?
Moeka shook her head once again.
証明
It's proof.
今日自分がどこにいたかの証明
Proof of where I was today.
Ah, so you know two Kiryus. One from Yakuza, obviously, and the ones from Godzilla. God, the Godzilla movies. Not seen them in years.
証明?
Proof?
そう
Yeah.
それってどういう?
What do you mean?
And then she heard the sound that meant she'd received a line message.
またクリスからかしら?
Is that from Kurisu again?
私にも来てるフェイリスさんから
I got one too. It's from Ferris.
フェイリスさん?
From Ferris? Disaster, Nia! The 314th prophecy of Fatima has come to pass, Nia! The hearts of men have lost the will to believe, and the seal created by the sacrifice of the ancient Incan civilization has been broken, Nia! It's only a matter of time before the dark god Black Master of Pluto revives, Nia! Not only the Earth, but the whole Galactic Federation is in danger, Nia! Summon the House of Lords and the Senate immediately, Nia! The President is missing, but I'm sure he's fallen off in Air Force One or something for the fight the enemy himself, Nia! I'll start the ceremony to seal him away once more, Nia! I want you to buy time until it finishes, Nia! Wait, what are you talking about? Blah. That was a joke, Nia! But really, there's big trouble, Nia! Blah. What happened? I'll explain later, Nia! There's a critical mission I want you to hit before you head back to the condo, Nia!
Both Maho and Moeka looked at each other, confused by Faris' strange message, just as confused as I am. And I'm glad it's making you laugh in the comments, Queen, because what the fuck's going on here?
二人ともよく来てくれたにゃ。
Welcome, both of you, Nia!
タイムリミットが迫っているけど、まだ時間は残っているにゃ。
The time limit approaches, but there's still time, Nia!
準備はできているかにゃ。
Is everything ready, Nia?
できている
It's ready.
ええ。
Yes.
では始めるにゃ。作戦名は
Then let us begin, Nia. This operation name is...
夜更かしシンデレラたちの秘密の女子会。お眠で思わずドッキリ発言。にゃー。
All night Cinderella girls secret party! Shopping, sleeping, confessions, Nia! This is... I don't know what to make of what I'm looking at here. We have Maho as a Kuma, Momika with a kind of Ada Wong style dress, and Ferris in a nightie. This is the disaster, people. This is the big disaster. And because I am evil, I'm literally going to end it right there. Yes, I am going to be back in 2 nights' time. We're going to be back on Saturday evening at 8 PM GMT, where we're going to find out exactly what goes on at this all-night Cinderella Girls secret party. God fucking help me. Until then, thank you all very, very much for watching. And good night.